the microphone. With a guest.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey!
I'm knackered. Let me sleep.
Yeah. Hello everyone.
Let me sleep.
We were trying to get a guest for this episode, so we actually couldn't find anyone.
Settled for me.
We found a homeless man actually off the street, and we said, "Hey, do you want to come in and talk about
Recently
movies?"
homeless. Only recently homeless.
Only recently, exactly.
Yeah, that's not a house he's in. He's in like a fucking glass cube in a museum somewhere.
Yeah, he's actually.
Is he part of an art piece? He's part of a modern art piece called the Woes of Homelessness
in the
North
Lavur.
Dakota.
Yes, indeed, the bum rated G. In Peterson.
The Beach Bum, starring Matthew McConaughey.
I never watched that movie. It was Harmony Korine that I might watch.
I don't think anybody did.
I don't know how I even know it.
That movie should I discontinued.
Welcome back, fine folks, to the Good, the Bad, and the Bruv. As you can see, we're joined by a previous guest that we've had on the show, Mike Peterson. What?
Hello!
Mike!
Hello!
This is not the second time Mike's been here in the last week.
No, I haven't seen you guys. I haven't seen you guys in years.
Yeah, in years. Yeah, man, it's been
That's
crazy.
just funny you mentioned that, Simon. I'm going to put this right here for you, buddy.
What does that say?
I can't read that.
It says
read.
the Silent Hill movie lost me the court case.
We've all been there. We've all been there.
So let's be honest
shit.
with the audience here. We had a really great thing that would have been amazing. It would have received many critical acclaim, but the powers that be will not let that happen.
God.
I was doing a Josh Trank gimmick. Yeah. Basically what happened was that we recorded a Silent Hill first timers with good old Mike Peterson, and it is now lost media. So
It happens.
in light of that tragedy, we decided, let's bring Mike on.
Are we recording? Are we recording right now?
Oh, we're recording right now.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
It says recording in the top left. We are all.
It said that last time.
It's recording now, don't you worry.
Well, we
It
were
will not be-
recording. We had it.
We did record it, yeah.
Save it.
Inshallah, the recording will be saved. Thank you.
It will be saved, inshallah, anyway.
Inshallah.
Thank you, Allah.
Thank you, Allah.
It's like that, dude. Peter Griffin talking to Santa Claus. I know I will be with Allah soon enough.
Soon
And he
enough.
closes his eyes.
Soon, Meg.
It's the prophet. Holy crap, Lois! If somebody says they're the Buddha, shoot them. That's how it
Inshallah,
is.
Lois.
My faith is truly restored.
Allah Akbar. More like Allah Snack
My
Bar.
snack bar.
More like Allahu Akbar. More like Iraq lobster.
Islamic terror is funny. That's what he would say, because it's a Modern Family Guy episode, and they have to explain the joke. Yeah.
Yes. In case, the humor is so highbrow that it might go over people's heads.
Oh, dude. So highbrow.
Should also address, I have officially moved into my new place, so there will be a cool setup eventually, but right now my internet is awful.
Now he's in the
Might
back
cut out.
rooms,
So
so-
I'm in the back rooms. So
And I changed
if I cut off at any point, that's what happened. But yeah,
I've
there you
simply
go.
just changed my perspective. This is the same set, but you can now see the Captain America thing, and also the Ocean Avenue sign, and the Samoa Joe flag.
Fucking Dutch angle. He's got a Dutch angle going on over here. I can't.
Yeah, Kenneth Branagh came in for this. He said, "Hey, I got an
Too
idea."
much of a loser.
Oh,
All right.
And I've changed nothing.
Yes.
This is just my regular set.
Yeah, I have
That's
a
a
pretty
shame.
boring room. Just walls.
Just boring.
I basically
afterward.
got the. If you ever seen True Detective season 1, Matthew McConaughey's
Oh, God.
apartment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Wang.
I
Except
I need to
for
I gotta rewatch that shit.
I was
Good
also in
show.
that project. I was in a lot of
first
different
season at least.
I didn't watch any of the other ones. I remember watching the
You're
first
not missing
one.
much.
Yeah, I
I heard the
heard.
most recent
False
one was
detectives.
okay. I heard the
Nah,
recent
the one with Jodie Foster, that shit sucked.
I
Oh,
didn't
really?
see it.
Okay, I will not watch it then.
I heard nothing about it, so I was just kind of like, all right.
It was good. No, it was bad. Oh, my
I heard the
bad.
one with like Vince Vaughn and Colin Farrell was pretty good.
That was season 2.
Yeah, season 2.
Not,
Yeah.
not as good as season 1, but still not at its
good
worst.
enough. Yeah.
Okay,
Good
that's
enough.
All right,
like-
so
it's like
folks,
Westworld. It's like Westworld.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna get started on Westworld.
The
Oh.
first season of Westworld is perfection, and then the rest is nowhere near as good.
It's sad how good that first season is of Westworld, because the other seasons are so fucking bad that you go. It's like that retroactive shame where you're like, how did I even like this show?
Dude,
That's the worst. I saw fucking Matt Stone talking about that recently. How he's saying like the problem with, especially with streaming shows recently, is just like you'll have everyone talk about this show, and they'll be like, "Oh, it's so good, you got to watch it." And I'll watch it, and I'll be like, "Yeah, that was so good." Then the second season will have just one of the worst episodes of TV ever that turns you off completely, and you're just like,
Stranger Things. Stranger Things.
You know what's the worst? That always coincides. I don't know how the universe does this, but that happens every time that you go, yo, man, you got to check out this show. There's a new season starting tonight. Let's both watch it. And then you watch it, and it's like, oh, dude, it's never this bad. It's never this bad. It's like, I'm sorry I recommended this in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have to feel like shit for the rest of the night. Like, you're associated with how bad Westworld was. Like, it's not my fault. It's not my fault.
You know what
Aaron Paul sucks.
You know what I think it is, though? I think creators of shows, or some of them, they'll make like their one season of TV, and it's very like, you know, it goes the full arc. Like the first season of Westworld, you can watch that on its own, and
it could be one done.
Yeah,
it's a screen adaptation, isn't it, of the book?
And I feel like the
someone
creators kind
should
of get bored.
Like, do you remember that? I don't know if you were there for that, Simon, but they made this like cut because they did the Obi-Wan show. They made a cut of like a 3.5-hour movie of that first series. They should do that.
Would have been better.
So that
Dude, The Hobbit was the same way. Somebody did like a 4-hour cut of all 3 Hobbit movies, and it actually works like way better as one
Topher
movie.
Grace somewhere out there has a prequel edit of the Star Wars prequels. It's like 90 minutes.
That's right. I forgot about that.
He screened it to like his friends and family and nobody else, and I think that's very interesting.
That's kind of rules.
Look what I did.
Of all people, did that.
Put it on the
That's why, like, dude, people like Mike Flanagan is like one of the only showrunners I trust now, because when he has a story, he uses his one season, he tells the story, and then he moves the fuck on, and we never see it again. You know, it's like, I guess The Haunting.
I don't really like him becoming the IP guy now, though.
I trust him.
I mean, who else are you going to give it to?
Else.
I mean, yeah, he's definitely shown that he can probably do Stephen King shit, at least. If anyone's going to do it, it's probably him, maybe. So, I mean, hey,
we shall
that's fine.
Wait and see.
Inshallah, we shall see.
Want to trust in his exorcist.
This episode is violently religious already.
Violently religious.
Violently religious.
Speaking of religion, what is your favorite one?
All right, no.
This episode has been banned in several countries.
Scientology, easily.
Yeah, number 1, baby. Yay.
They're the
I want to
best.
thank my friends and family for joining me on this ride. It's the final
I'm a
episode.
Seventh-day Adventist. I do the same thing that all Christians do, except I go to church on Saturday.
Whatever religion where you wear Nikes and then kill yourselves.
Yeah.
Heaven's Gate.
Yeah,
oh,
the good old-
Is that real?
Yeah. Before they all
that was the
drank
Kool-Aid one, right? Yeah.
Well,
No,
one
not
of the
Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid ones.
That
But
shit was so
they added a little bit of
stupid.
flair to it. Before they all took the dive to the mothership, they all dressed up in fresh Nikes.
And they had like weird jumpsuits on, like they were like getting on a spaceship or some shit.
Yo, I
like
can
that.
get down with
remember
this.
that.
I gotta hear about this. I gotta
God,
look this
dude,
shit
look
up right
at
now.
the story of Heaven's Gate is fucked. I can't believe nobody's made a movie about that, because it's
Made a
fucking
documentary.
insane. Well, yeah, of course,
Yeah.
but like I'm surprised nobody's adapted it like as like
Yeah.
a fucking weird doc. Like,
Yeah, I guess because nobody wants to see people get castrated and then kill themselves.
yeah, it is
Yeah,
true.
probably. It's a little in bad taste these days.
Self-castration too.
Yeah.
No one wants to see that.
Yeah, man. Worst
Castration?
mistake I ever made.
Oh,
Speaking of
dear.
mistakes, cats.
And all I got was a lousy T-shirt.
What's up? What's
And
up,
all I
Bo
got was
Burnham?
a
What do you
pair of
want?
Nikes.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
So yes, for the folks at home, we got a very interesting structure today, as you can see. We're starting off with we're going to start off actually with a quick little what we got. We're just going to bring a little quick something to the table. We're not going to not thinking too much on it really, just kind of like, you know, look, we haven't done it in a minute, so let's do it. So who would like to
Fucking
start?
do it.
Simon.
Simon start.
Oh my god, he with the Smash Brothers voice right off the bat.
Simon.
Mike Peterson.
Islam.
The Prophet Muhammad.
He's like a fucking stage boss.
And like he's doing like the clapping, like when
Yeah.
Yeah, when he lost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
This game is The Tide of Islam.
Oh,
What shit
God.
picks?
That's the title of this video. The Tide of Islam.
That took me the fuck
Did
out.
we make a joke? Wait, did we make a joke about that when we were promoting the last episode with Mike? I feel like we made a joke about that.
What?
There was
Was
some
it the
kind of
prophet?
about Islam. I swear. Am I going insane?
I don't.
There has been too much
I
religion.
think you're
and it's
seeing
been,
the light.
Each summer starts floating.
It's like the whale.
Yeah. That movie's so fucking funny.
Okay. I will stop.
Best comedy of the year.
Yeah.
I will stop pussyfooting around. I'll get to my bit. I'm happy we're doing a brief what we got because the movie that I want to talk about today is one that you should go in completely blind for. It's not getting any marketing on Netflix, and it's one of my favorite movies of the year. It's called It's What's Inside, and it's an absolutely fantastic movie. I'm not going to give anything except a brief synopsis of it takes place the night before. This guy, he's getting married, and he has all these friends who he hasn't seen in a while, and he invites them over to his big fucking mansion, and they're going to have basically like a bachelor party. And then one of their friends shows up with a mysterious suitcase that does something to the rest of them.
Uh-oh.
And
Ooh, I'm interested. Ooh.
it is. Oh yeah. I just wanted to shout it out really quickly. I think this movie is one of the more unique takes on like murder mystery. It has a big Clue vibe. It kind of reminded me a bit of Clue. And
I think I saw the trailer for this, but the fact that you're not mentioning what was happening in the trailer, I guess, is a spoiler. I don't want to.
yeah, because I didn't know.
A lot of trailers will give away big things, so that's why I like
Netflix stuff. They
away.
just kind of like to drop
Oh my God.
everything about the movie.
Dude, when they cloned Tyrone last year, which was fantastic.
Oh,
Another
man,
great
what a
movie.
good
so
movie.
good.
The trailer just
good.
gave away everything and it ruined the whole movie. I was so upset about that. But I think this is just proof like Netflix originals get a lot of shit for being very like cheap or very like generic, I guess. This is proof positive that when they let people cook, it's actually quite unique.
Well, you were
It's
saying
funny.
that how this wasn't a Netflix original. It was just something that was on the festival circuit that was kind of dumped there, kind of like
Yeah.
Hitman, that recent movie with Glenn Powell.
Netflix purchased it and they bought it early. I think it premiered at Sundance in January, and they bought it right after that. But then they just didn't market it. They didn't talk about it until like a month before the movie came out. And they released like one trailer, and that was it, which is a shame. Without spoiling anything, because it is also kind of a plot point. I think the way this movie uses color grading and uses color to like use theme and without spoiling character motivation is like really interesting. It's really funny. It's not a horror movie. Like it's not gonna scare you or anything like that. It's very it's a dark movie. You're gonna get a laugh out of it.
Thriller, perhaps.
It's like a lighter version of. It's like a much lighter tone version of Talk to Me. That's how up. Like a very lighter tone.
I loved.
Oh, Talk to Me was great.
I liked it. It wasn't quite my thing. I thought it was a tad overhyped, but I still liked what it did. Like certain scenes I thought were very well done.
Yeah.
I do like the ending quite a bit too, but overall I thought it was a little bit like, all right. It's
I
a good
agree.
first directing movie from those guys. So
For them, like that's.
yeah,
The news of them dropping off Street Fighter was worse than like death.
that was a shame because those guys have been like on YouTube doing those like Street Fighter like videos forever
That
too.
one
Like
Street
I'm just
Fighter
like
video they
these guys
did
are
is like all
perfect.
time on YouTube. So
Yeah,
It's a
they
shame.
probably want to do something cool and interesting with it, and they said no, we can't do that.
no, we don't have that kind of money.
Can't do
I'd also
originality
like
We
here.
give you that kind of money. So
I'd also
Yeah,
like
man.
to point out the director of this movie that I brought today. He directed a lot of episodes of one of the worst Netflix originals, which is the Cowboy Bebop live action adaptation.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and
no.
I saw that
no.
going in and was dreading it. This guy, when he has actual good material to work off of, he's pretty good. He's a pretty good
I was gonna
director.
say most of the problem with that series was everything besides the directing, like writing.
Yeah.
And
They really fucked that shit up, man. That
It's-
was like what I was
so
just talking
awful.
about, like retroactive embarrassment. It's like that came close where I was like, oh man, maybe I don't like Cowboy Bebop at all. Maybe this
Dude,
does.
that was
man,
that was my mom's first introduction to Cowboy Bebop, and I'm just like, no, you're not
why
supposed
would
to do
I don't know if I remember this, but we were in a call with our buddy Zane, and Zane was huge on Cowboy Bebop for a solid like month. You know how you have like phases of something.
Yeah.
He was in the
Oh, yeah.
Cowboy Bebop phase, and he was like, "You gotta watch it, you gotta watch it." I watched 2 episodes of the anime, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna watch this." And then the fucking the live
Realistic,
action show comes out. The graphics, man. No, the live action show comes
graphics
out.
look like in 2014.
Zayn never spoke about the show again.
I missed this whole thing. I didn't know Zane was a Bebop guy. I didn't know this at all.
He loves his anime, man. Neon Genesis was a big one for a while.
Oh,
yeah.
that's my number one.
Hell,
I gotta watch that at some point, man. I'm like, I keep seeing. I'm just like, it's like, I've not seen it yet. No,
Neither have I.
God.
Wyatt.
Neither have I.
Neon
Yeah.
Genesis.
So I should get on.
I've heard that like the ending is like one of the most like insane.
It's the best
like,
thing ever
difficult
made.
Things ever made. Yeah,
Man.
exactly.
It's up there.
It really is. It's the best. It's like one of the best movies ever made, and the way to end your series. It's like
I remember-
it's like the bleakest. Like when you're done with it, you watch the final movie, end of Evangelion. You're like, wow.
Like, I remember the someone was posting the it was a little like commercial like TV spot for like End of Eva.
Oh, the
And it was
Japanese
just, like,
one. Where it's like,
and it was just, like a sped up like "Ah!" It was just like
Yeah.
a sped up reel of like the entire movie, like explosions and screaming, and then just boom, End of Eva with like dead silent. I'm like,
pretty good representation of the film.
It reminds me. Remember that Alien trailer that people talk about, where it's just like the end, the last 30 seconds of that original Alien trailer is just
yep.
fury and noise and hard cuts, like a solid like 30 seconds. It's terrifying.
It always used to be an art form, believe it or not.
God, when did it stop? When did it stop? I don't know.
Probably around 2010, maybe 2007.
What,
We still
the
get
original
some.
films?
No, just like like trailers being good. Like I don't think there's been a good
Right.
trailer in like
You're
forever.
right. There used to be. Do you remember that movie Battle L.A.?
Oh,
Yeah.
Aaron Eckhart. Yeah, that was
Awful. One of the worst movies
Yeah.
ever made. But I don't remember what movie I was seeing, but the trailer for that movie, it was like, whoa, this is gonna be great.
Yep.
And it was like,
Because that was the
wow.
era of like Cloverfield and Transformers, and like those
Yeah,
big like
yeah.
spectacle films were like really getting big at that
That's crazy
time.
how the trend has flipped like that, isn't it? Where like trailers used to be really shit.
The Super 8 trailer, remember that? Whew.
Oh, everyone's excited for that movie.
With the train, and then it tries to be like, all right.
Nothing.
Prometheus, another one. That the first trailer for Prometheus is
Yep.
fucking
Fantastic.
incredible.
Oh my god.
Oh, the new Tron. When that first trailer came out, everyone shat their pants. It was like Daft
Legacy,
Punk
yeah.
is doing Tron. Like, wow.
Even fucking dude, this one is really funny given how bad the movie is. The first trailer for the last Airbender live action movie is actually good, and you're like, it's pretty good.
That.
It's
I don't like
Yeah.
to think about that shit.
No,
That
nobody does. How do you fuck that
That'd
up?
be a good. That'd be a good discussion for like a later podcast. Just like good trailers for bad movies.
gonna
That'd be
or
really
just
cool.
best trailers.
There's a
Best
lot of them.
trailers.
Yeah,
You know, like
that'd be really cool. So, Simon, is that your opinion on the film?
yes, but it's
talking
what's
about?
inside.
That was a good discussion,
yeah.
though.
No,
That was
it's
really
what's
good.
inside. Watch it with a group of friends. It's a very fun group watch. The ending is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it sounds cool.
but it's great.
How many bags of popcorn?
Yeah.
I give it a
Cups of soda.
solid. Cups of. Well, I have a. I'll give it
Real cups.
I'll give it 4 regular Dr. Peppers and a Dr. Pepper cream soda, which is like a
Ooh,
4
high
and a half.
praise.
Oh,
Yeah. That's
that's
what
at
I
least
give
5 beverages.
it. Okay, like I was trying to go for like
That's
4 and a
basic
half.
math in early school years. And we learned something that day. We really did. We took it with us for life. And
Every single fucking time we do a different stupid metric for rating our movies. It's like discovering the atom bomb.
I give it
of
no
metrics,
Oh,
I'd like to talk about my pick.
Oh, what is it?
What?
What have you brought?
It's a big boy.
Oh,
it's a big
wait.
boy.
You got a big boy?
I have got a big boy.
Oh, Outcast. We talking? Okay.
I would bring it over there, but it's very delicate. Do you know what? I'm actually going to do it. In fact, I'm going to talk while I'm moving. So
Oh my!
you're not going to see me.
Multitasker.
But here's the thing,
This
right?
is exciting.
I was
scared.
rethinking about this movie because some people said it was actually bad, and I said that can't be the case. It's like a fucking hood classic, you know.
All right, we'll see.
Good classic.
So I'm like, I'm visiting London with a friend for a show, and while we were there, we went into the Lego store, and I just happened to get myself a DeLorean.
Now we're talking.
So I would of course, love to talk about a specific part of the Back to the Future trilogy. I'm of course talking about part 3.
Ah,
yeah.
It's fine. I don't,
Exa-
You picked wrong. You picked wrong, unfortunately. You found a way to pick wrong on what we
No,
got.
no.
this is actually one of the more quotable ones, I will say.
I'm gonna tell you this
Yes.
right now. This is my favorite Back to the Future, and I'm not even kidding.
Old.
It's a good
I will
movie.
say-
I make bits. It's a good movie. I like it.
I will say my opinions have changed drastically on Back to the Future, kind of to what everyone kind of said all along. Like, I love Back to the Future too. And then you go back and you rewatch it as an adult, and it's like, oh, this is kind of not great. Like, if I was an adult when Back to the Future 2 came out, I would have been like, they just did the first movie again. Like,
Yep.
That is true.
it's the
That
same
is true.
movie. I mean, it's the future stuff is cool. Oh, that's neat, but it's literally retreading the first movie.
I like the fucking gang of dudes who are just like, would you become the physical type? Like that shit.
Yeah.
Funny.
You came
The easy way.
Unless you have power. Such a,
No, but
yeah. Go on.
I agree. Back to the Future 3 is pretty underrated, I think.
It's
I
so
agree.
fucking good, man. So, I watched all three of them in a row. I had a free day the other day. I just watched all three of them in a row. First one is a classic. I feel like I can attribute it to Star Wars a little bit, but like I'll switch one of them. You'll get what I mean. A New Hope
Yep.
is the first one, and it's very old fashioned and like you're like, huh, charming. This is the first movie. That's how I feel about Back to the Future Part 1. There's not a lot to say about it. Everyone's seen the movie. Part 2 is like, I get why everyone thinks that's the best one. I think all the stuff with Biff and like you said, going back to the
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. Oh,
I get it
Son
now.
of a bitch.
the whole shit with like when Biff wins the Grand National and shit, and then he has all this money. It's like it's such a good way to do that. The whole stuff with the future is really charming as well. Like how they depict 2015 and us being in 2024, and we're nowhere fucking near that. You know?
No, we're in the Biff dark timeline.
It's funny how
that
that,
timeline.
it's
That's
so
2
funny
weeks.
to me.
2 weeks from now, brother.
It's so funny to me how like back to the, like that future, like that's like old as shit now. Like
Yeah.
2015 was so fucking
That's
long
nearly
ago
a
now, almost
decade
10
ago.
years. Yeah,
The
a decade ago.
future in that movie, 30 years from then, is 10 years ago for us,
Insane.
which is crazy.
Fucking weird.
How horrifying.
That's
Yeah.
horrible. But yeah, no. This is my favorite part because everything to do with the way they end these movies to do the to be continued, I love that shit.
Yes.
This is my favorite one specifically because the ending of that movie involved Doc literally spending all that time trying to fix this car and send Marty back to the future, and then literally seconds later, Marty comes back and he's like, "Dude, I need your help again." It's like, oh fuck! And then
Here
they
we
find the
go.
car, and then they find the car in the rocks after he put him in there for 100 years. It's like, oh man, and everything to do with the Wild West. I love that aesthetic so much. This
Of
movie
course.
It's
is
cool.
So fucking.
It's a shame we don't have any good westerns anymore.
And we get to see Doc wanting to fuck. We always do
Yeah.
on the horny side.
The first
That's a
two
great
movies are all-
subplot. Like that's a fucking.
the first two movies are all about Marty, and obviously Marty is still a big part in the third one. But we actually get to see Doc develop and fall in love with someone, and I love that shit. And the characters are great. I love that Biff plays the same fucking. I love this actor plays the same fucking character in each timeline, but now he's like his great grandfather.
I'm gonna put a bullet in your head or whatever the fuck.
Oh,
it says.
Mad Dog Tannen.
Mad Dog. You gutless yellow pie slinger.
Yellow belly.
He's an asshole.
I love
I
that part
remember,
when. I'll go on, Mike.
Up until very recently, I think I actually watched it with pretty much it when I got it. It's like Marty goes to the bar and he's like, "Can I get some water?" And everyone's like, "Ha ha ha! The boy wants some water." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, everybody drinks water. Like, why are they acting like that?" And it was like, "Oh, I guess like in old West times, their water was gross."
Yeah, water was riddled with the plague.
The idea of ordering water was laughable. Like, why would you want to drink water, you stupid fuck?
Yeah,
I completely forgot they referenced that in Rango. Because he says, "Can I?"
Yes, they do.
Fucking, if they throw him the cactus juice, or whatever the fuck it is.
Oh
watch the movie.
shit. Okay.
Have you still
a good
not
movie.
seen that, Wyatt?
I've not seen it in its entirety yet. No, I got to.
You've never been rangoed?
I'm not a
I'm gonna
true
Rango the
Rango.
fuck out of you. Like,
Yeah, my favorite part of Rango is when he Rangos all over the place at the end of the
It
movie.
sucks
Oh,
because
man.
it seems like a movie that I would fuck with so hard. I can't believe I haven't seen it, especially when it came
Rango
out.
in time.
You
When,
just said there's
um,
no good westerns anymore. That is a good western.
That is
Like
a
a
good
legitimately good western.
When Tim and Eric's movie was coming out,
Oh god,
the
yeah.
$1 billion
Oh my
movie,
God.
Yeah.
and they were doing press tours for it. And so like every single like press tour they did, they were like, guys, we got some bad news. And they're like, well, what is it? Like, the people who aren't in on the joke, they interviewing them, they're like, well, what are you talking about? And they goes, unfortunately, our movie has been Rangoed. And they're like, huh? What does that mean? And they go, for some reason, the studio interspliced in outtakes from the movie Rango into the film at random intervals. We told them not to do it, but they went ahead and did it anyway. So, unfortunately, we've been Rangoed.
I can easily just picture Tim Heidecker just saying that with just the most blunt
stalest
honesty.
face.
Oh, yeah, just complete sincerity. And they're all like, oh, do you guys want to talk about the film? And they're like, not really.
No.
Like, we're pretty pissed.
We put a lot of effort into it.
Pretty
They
pissed.
they
We got
scooped us like
Rango.
that. We got Rango.
Dude, it's like we said about Topher Grace and the Star Wars prequels. Somebody out there has the Rango cut of that movie.
And
Where
the
they
Rango
just
cut.
slice
Tim and Eric.
Rango.
That's
Oh my
amazing.
god. Tim and Eric, amazing people.
Thank you, Tim and Eric.
I also, Back to the Future 3 has the infamous Pee-Pee Boy.
Oh my God, the
Oh
pee-pee
god,
boy.
yeah.
The Pee-Pee
Preamble
Boy.
the piss boy from Furiosa.
From Furiosa, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they could have George Lucas that out, but they've kept it in for time in memoriam.
Amen.
Always got the Pee-Pee Boy.
Also, the point you made, Mike, about how people said, "Oh, the second one is just the same as the first one." 3 is so distinguishable, not only
Yeah.
looks wise, but like
It is,
everyone acting like fucking they're in the Western era, and like I don't think anyone noticed this. Simon, I don't know if you fucking noticed this, but like the parallels in between them. So like they have to. Every single film is about them speeding the car up to get to the fucking past or the future, whatever.
Yep.
And then Biff ends up getting covered in shit every fucking movie.
Yeah.
like shit
Yeah.
like that. I love trends
bit.
like that.
I would say my only complaint would be from coming off the heels of Back to the Future 2 would be maybe like just a little more time travel. Like they spend the whole movie in the
Sure.
West. Maybe like
Yeah, it's
I
a
don't
little
know.
weird.
But again,
That
I
is
think that was
true.
like to change it because in 2 they're going back and forth all the fucking
Yeah,
time in
yeah.
2, so they didn't want to just do that again, which I do respect.
Props to fucking Chris Lloyd, who manages to play 2 different Docs from 2 different fucking timelines.
Very good, yeah. Really,
Yeah, he always
solid
does
good
that,
actor.
yeah.
Like I said, like start of the movie, he's fucking freaking out. He just sent Marty back, and he's back again. And now he's playing a Doc that's known him longer, and like been in the West this
plus
whole time.
50s Doc.
And the
Yes.
ending of this movie is so fucking funny when he comes in with the train. I completely forgot that he has a time traveling train at the end.
Did
It is
you
a
ever
really,
see?
really wholesome, nice. And I think that's like what they were going for with the new.
So
Indiana
funny.
Jones,
They're like-
and it
they're
just
like-
did not get close.
They're like
What do
sitting
you mean,
there,
Marty? I'm a master of time.
the DeLorean's been destroyed, and then they're like, why are the fucking things dinging? Which, by the way, doesn't make any fucking sense. Why is the fucking train lights going off when there's no train coming? And then the moment the train comes in, they're like,
Yeah, because they needed something because they couldn't, like, Doc was just like, oh yeah, we'll appear here in the future, and they never addressed like, well, what if there's somebody there? Like,
What if there's another
like,
train
someone-
coming? What if
Yeah,
there's
what if
another
we
train
time
coming and
travel
you
like
go?
right on top of somebody? Like, are we gonna completely obliterate them? Like, so
Why
yeah,
would that change the future too? I wonder.
So
Like, I don't know. They threw
Dude,
that. They threw that
as
law
well.
book out the window.
did you ever see the
Yeah.
Back to the Future cartoon that starred Doc's children from the end of that movie?
Jules and Verne.
Yeah, Jules and Vern.
They made a show.
There was an
I've not seen
animated
the show, no.
There was an animated series about Jules and Vern going on various time adventures, and every episode was introduced by a live-action Doc, a la Jackie Chan Adventures.
Oh, the best show of all time. Oh my god.
That's actually kind of fun. That's kind of fun. I can
I
get.
was gonna
with
say
that.
this show had to have been on the fucking WB, right?
Something like that. I remember.
I remember
Dan
WB
Castanella
would-
voiced Doc.
Wait, that's actually really good. I like that. Fucking Homer
Brothers.
Simpson, pretty much. That's really good.
I love
Actually, I'm
it.
assuming he was
Danger.
just talking
Warner
like.
Brothers.
I'm assuming Dan Castanella's dog was pretty much just the grandpa from Hey Arnold. Like, yeah, sure.
Not as high pitched.
Yeah, not as high
More like a
pitched.
gruff, like Marty.
Yeah,
I've
exactly.
never watched Hey Arnold.
You ever watched Hey Arnold?
Dan also they get him for a bunch of shit. He voices the genie in the Aladdin animated
In the Aladdin
series as
show,
well,
yeah.
which I didn't even
know that. That's
know
really
until,
good. That's a
years
good
ago.
pick.
It's weird. They brought him in to voice the genie in the show and in Aladdin 2.
Aladdin 2, yeah.
Then they brought Robin Williams back for Aladdin 3.
For Kiss, see if because there's Return to Far.
The third one, the third one is abysmal because it's like, I think I like the second one better, but the third one is funnier because they brought Robin Williams back and he doesn't have a really good plot point, and all he does is do fucking pop culture references again. That's his whole arc in the whole movie.
Oh yeah, here's Johnny.
He's a genie again.
First time.
The whole point of the first movie is that he got released, and now he's a fucking genie again. It didn't make any sense.
Just hanging out.
He's just there. He's like, stop.
I hope they do that
You
in
remember
the
the Lion
sequel.
King? Lion to take the lion.
Alex the Lion.
Yeah, no. I wanted to mention it because I'm a Part 3 defender. I think it's a great movie.
It's great. They're all great.
Love the scene where they're trying to power it with the fucking the colored vials and everything. I don't know. I'm so glad that they didn't bother making a Part 4. I remember there's so many rumors about Part 4 for like.
I'm shocked it hasn't been remade or fucked with.
Yeah.
I'm really
It's
shocked
coming.
it hasn't.
It's coming.
It's coming. Exactly. This thing. It's like the one that's like. It's kind of like the like the big like solar flare or whatever when when the sun explodes. It's like it's coming.
It's
sometime
coming someday.
down the line. Way down the
They're
line.
gonna
But like
wait,
it'll happen.
They'll wait for Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox to be dead first.
Exactly.
And Robert
100%.
Zemeckis as well. They were more than likely.
It's like the second they pass, they're going to be like, it's time to go.
It's time,
Yeah.
baby. Let's go.
All right, Josh Gad, Doc Brown.
I'm gonna.
Dude. Oh my god. I'm gonna be like 45 with my
fucking
kids.
afraid.
And I'm gonna be like 45 with my kids. And then they're gonna announce it. It's gonna be like when Jonah Hill's announcing Ted 2. I'm gonna be like, fuck!
Yeah, Jonah Hill. Yeah.
Yeah, no. But yeah, that's my
alright.
pick. Love
How
it.
many bags?
How many bags? I'm gonna give it a Phillips screwdriver firmly planting a screw into a metal work table that you will use to sand several pieces of wood for product design.
Very nice.
It's a good movie. Go watch the movie.
Good.
There you go.
I relate to
Alright.
this. My dad does that. My dad does that as his day job,
Rick
as a, side,
Rubin?
as a side hustle. So that works out.
Rick Rubin.
It's not Rick Rubin. Stop calling him Rick Rubin.
Yo, his work with System of a Down is some legendary
amazing,
fucking
dude.
music. Man. Holy shit, your dad's a fucking.
Oh boy. You just made him leave, you asshole.
I'm
All right,
gonna,
I
I'm
brought
gonna
a
trump
film.
card you. Fuck you. I'm gonna trump.
Do you see the shame that he lives in?
I live in. I'm
You
Rick
live in
You look like you
shame.
just, Simon, you look like you just like saw a videotape of what you actually did to your wife, and now you're very upset.
Shutter Island. Shutter Island.
No. We'll
All right.
discuss that later. I brought a film.
What's up? What?
I brought a film that I watched last night.
Ooh, go for it.
Oh dear.
It's a weird film. It's been on my list for quite some time, similar to like how like Collateral was on my list for a while. I just never saw it. So this has been on my list for a while. I forget where I actually first heard of it, but I always thought it sounded interesting. And that is the film from 1990 called Jacob's Ladder.
Oh, great. I know exactly why you watched it, too.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yep.
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent movie.
Tim Robbins, Ving Rhames, Macaulay Culkin, Jason Alexander for some reason shows up. George Costanza.
Macaulay Culkin is in a movie that isn't Home Alone. I think the Earth is fucking destroyed.
Dude, it's weird because
little
like he's like super like young in this, obviously, but also it's like you have the charisma of Kevin McAllister still. Like you like
Yeah.
how do you sound older? It's weird. Like it's just has he always just been a cool kid or something? Like
Also, a very strange cameo from Lewis Black.
he's in that too? Wait, who was he?
He is in it for 2 seconds. It's when Jacob has like his episode in the bathtub, and they snap him out of it, and the guy goes like, the doctor is like, "Welcome back to the land of the living, Jacob."
Yeah, that's Lewis Black.
That's
I
Lewis
looked.
Black.
He looked familiar. I was like, who is this?
Like,
That's
for some
Anger from
reason-
Inside Out.
Lewis Black when Lewis
Wow.
White walks in.
So, Jacob's Ladder, yeah, this movie came out in 1990, didn't have a good box office opening, became quite a cult classic, though. And, actually, I'm going to tell you right now. So, basically, the movie's about this Vietnam War veteran, comes back from the war. He's a postman now. He's a postman. And you kind of understand that something happened in the war. He doesn't know what it is. You don't really know what happened. They all just kind of have...
during the war.
Well, so the opening happens, and they all just have a bunch of seizures as they're attacked by, like, the Viet Cong. So it's like, what the fuck?
What's that all about?
Yeah, what's that about? So then he's just kind of going about his day, trying to get back home. He's in a subway, and he's just like, everyone looks very weird at him. There's a lot of just decaying structure in this subway. He thinks he sees like 4 or 5 different abominations, and just he sees a tail of a woman at one point, and then he's just kind of walking home. And basically, the movie is basically just about this guy tripping out for a while, and he knows that something very bad happened in Vietnam when he was in the war, and he's trying to figure it out. Basically. Now, when I saw that first,
always find these movies that are always about some dude fucking tripping out.
I know exactly why he watched it, but
yeah, exactly.
Life story.
Yeah.
So, when that opening scene in the subway's happening, I'm thinking to myself, I say this a lot, but this is where it really came in. I'm just like, this kind of reminds me of Silent Hill a little bit. And as the movie went on, all of these monsters that he's seeing, they all look very Silent Hill-esque. They're all humanoid. They don't have faces. They're doing the weird head shake thing, that fucking weird. And I look it up, and I'm like, apparently this movie Silent Hill was heavily inspired by this film. And that's kind of why, very heavily. To the point where you could almost call this movie Silent Hill, and I'd be like, perfect adaptation.
Yeah.
I could say, yeah. This movie is
one of I'm pretty sure it was one of the first big psychological horror movies. So I think that's why the box office probably wasn't too great.
I was gonna say this feels like it would have come out today, and people would have been like, "Amazing, best film of the year." Elevated horror kind of things. Yeah,
they were not ready for that.
Not ready.
Even just I think that and Twin Peaks are the main driving forces behind Silent Hill, and just not even the design of it, but the concept of a character kind of going through hell kind of thing. That was pretty fresh, and I think probably one of the best ways to do horror, because you got a horror movie, and this goes for video games too, where you got a character and they're trapped in a spooky situation, I got to get out of this haunted house, or serial killer's coming to get me. But in this, a psychological horror like this, it's more there's nowhere to go. There's only only go.
And that's the biggest thing. The biggest thing in this movie is that you just feel that immense sense of hopelessness and dread. Because you don't know why this guy's seeing all these things. There's a fucking amazing scene that takes place at a party, this house party that he's at, where he's dancing with his wife for a minute. Then he sees his wife dancing with this other guy, and then it just turns into this very bizarre he's seeing
a lizard or something like that.
Yeah, he's seeing them fuck, and then he just sees that he's a lizard, and he's fucking her. And you see just the cut back to this strobe effect on him, and he just goes he's just freaking out, and it's so fucking weird.
Can I ask you a question?
Disturbing, and yes.
When did this come out?
1991
or
so,
90.
So it's prosthetics.
Oh yes, all makeup,
that's awesome.
But a lot of it
I might have to check this out.
Dude, definitely, because there's a lot of parts too where you'll just quick cut to something and you're just like, what was that? You don't know what it looked like, a face, but you weren't quite sure.
This
it
sounds
looked
like a modern day music video where just shit is happening.
Yeah, a 9 Inch Nails video or something like that.
9 Inch Nails is perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
They also the famous and this is what I think inspired Silent Hill the most, the hell sequence where he's in the hospital and it slowly kind of.
That is one of the craziest.
It was this is amazing.
So there's a part where he's kind of in hell, pretty much, kind of a version of hell or whatever. Yeah, exactly. This isn't this isn't
a
too big of
hospital that makes you hell.
Yeah, and he's getting this weird it's this old 20s hospital treatment or whatever. He just goes, "Why am I here?" Whatever. He goes, "You died. That's why you're here." He goes, "What? But no, there's some kind of mistake. How is it a mistake? You're here. You're dead." It's this is so fucking unnerving, and there's no gore or anything. Exactly. It's just this is so unnerving and weird and bizarre, And then like the ending, like the second half happens, and you kind of get more of like, okay, we're getting more of the plot. It's a bit of a slow burn of a film.
Yes, yeah, definitely compared to today's.
Yeah, and it's only like 2 hours too, which is kind of funny. It's only like an hour and 50 or so. And then the ending happens, and it's so like, oh, like it's one of those things where you kind of realize you're just like, oh fuck, and then it's like credits, and it is also heavily.
It makes you think the whole time.
Pretty much, it makes you. You're thinking even afterwards. I had to like look up a few different like essays afterwards to be like,
and shit.
am I right on this? And I'm like,
there
okay,
is
okay.
Very strange decision. There is a deleted scene that's probably it would have been one of the best scenes in the movie. It drives home like everything you were just talking about, like the Silent Hillness, like the creepy bizarreness.
I think I saw this actually.
It's like when he's in the bed and he's like, I guess some guy is trying to help him, like get through the demons and shit. And it's like how the apartment kind of like Silent Hillifies itself.
Yeah, it just kind of turns into like a different setting or something. Yeah,
it's it's an amazing movie.
No, it's incredible. It's one of the most
Japanese, Japanese people fucking love it. Like it's all over. There's a bunch of references in anime too, where it's like, obviously a Jacob's Ladder reference right there.
Yep. There's a part in the movie where it's like there's this like car chase. He's being like chased by this car.
Yeah, with like the shadowy figures inside.
Yeah, and then you just see like quick glimpses of them, and you're just like, what the fuck was that? Like I had to back it up for a second because I'm just like I had to study it. I'm just like, who the fuck thought of this? Like, who the fuck made this? Like,
I don't know actually. Who did make that?
It's a director by the name of
Jacob's Ladder based on something? Was it based on like a book or something, or by like a short story?
I think it was an original. Well, I think it's like based. It's like based on like Dante's Inferno.
I see that too. Yeah, it's about that kind of descent into like afterlife and hell, which way's which. A lot of symbolism. Wow, this guy has a very funny track record. His name is Adrian Lin. He directed Fatal Attraction, 9.5 Weeks, Flashdance, and
what the fuck
Deep Water with Ben Affleck.
What a filmography. What a filmography. That's incredible.
Very interesting. It seems like he decided to cook once and never again. I mean, then again,
that's fine.
That's fine, exactly.
Title refers to the biblical story of Jacob's Ladder, or the dream of a meeting place between heaven and earth, Genesis 20:12. Dante's Inferno.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of stuff like that. Yeah. It's a deeply. I will say this. I'm glad I waited a day to watch this, because if I watched this while I was zooted, I probably would have fucking went there for all I know.
You would have climbed the ladder. You would have climbed Jacob's Ladder.
The fucking ladder.
Not a good movie to watch while you're tripping.
No.
Scott in? No, he just left.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you ever see Angel Heart with
I've seen Inkheart with Brendan Fraser.
No.
What a cinema.
Almost as good as Monkey Bone.
Oh, Monkey Bone.
For furry vengeance?
If no one got me, I know Monkey Bone got me.
Who is the guy from Goodfellas? Why can't I remember his name?
Joe Pesci.
Other guy.
Ray
Robert
Liotta?
De Niro.
Ray
Liotta.
The other guy.
The other guy.
There's one more
The
guy.
other guys.
Robert De
Dwayne
Niro?
Johnson and
Robert De
Samuel Jackson.
Niro.
There we
Robert
go.
De Niro. I'd say if you like Jacob's Ladder, look up Angel Heart with Robert De Niro. I think that was Robert De Niro.
Angel Heart. I'm looking it up right now.
The other guys.
1987. Oh, it looks pretty cool. I like the poster.
Very similar
Whoa.
kind of very similar kind of horror.
The poster is Robert De Niro looking like a fucking pimp with a cane. He's got like a cool goatee. And also, who else is in this? Oh, Mickey Rourke. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm definitely watching this. This looks funny.
Oh,
This looks
Mickey
cool
Rourke.
as fuck.
It's a good one.
I'll definitely watch it. But yeah,
Be the wrestler.
Jacob's Ladder, highly recommend it. It is, again, it's a movie that'll make you think. A movie that'll make you think about like life itself, and also just like everything, like heaven and religion and hell and all this other shit too. Redemption, very much redemption, actually. A lot of that. Also, Tim Robbins, fucking great actor. God damn. He is super underrated. I feel like no one talks about him.
I think you mentioned that a few days ago. I think you made it. Was it Tim Robbins or was there another actor that you tweeted about? Like,
I was talking about the guy from Penguin, Theo Rossi, from because he was in Luke Cage, and I remember he was really good in that show, and he's really good in Penguin. I'm like, this guy's really fucking good. Why isn't he in more
No one
shit?
talks about Tim Robbins because Tim Batman's just does a.
Well, no, he was in Green Lantern also, so maybe that's why.
I feel like I'd fuck with Jacob's Ladder a bit more now than I would like a year or so ago. Or getting
it's
weird thing, dude. But you were just discussing it initially. I was thinking I saw the TV Glow, which is like my favorite movie this year. So
good.
Fucking
it's kind of like that actually. I'd equate it to something like that. Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen that, Mike. I would highly recommend it.
I have.
Fucking incredible.
Yeah,
It is pretty good.
All right, and now Mike, if you have anything that you have,
I do.
All right,
coming in with a TV show.
Ooh,
One second, Danny's got the TV show.
my man.
God, no.
Coming in with a Japanese anime.
Oh no!
Yep.
Oh,
Did he?
Coming in with an anime.
Don't you do it.
So I'll start by saying, like, I'm a fan of the anime. I love it.
Me too.
I've always been a fan of animation as a whole. Just the art form of it is mind blowing to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I had kind of two renaissances with anime, and the first one was when I started watching it in Japanese subbed, and I was like, oh, this is much better. Like this is a billion times better. It doesn't feel as cringy.
I watched the Dragon Ball Bardock movie from like that was like the prequel one.
Yes,
I watched that in the actual Japanese dub, and I was like, this is an entirely different movie.
Dude,
this is
it's so
amazing.
much better.
Like,
and not to say that English actors are bad, because there's a lot of really good English actors. It's just like when you have something foreign and you're translating it, like you're not just translating the words, you're also localizing it. So when the characters speak, they sound like they are English speakers.
Exactly.
Like you can tell that you don't have a good localizer when you watch like a foreign film or an anime. When like a character will say something, and you know, like this happens a lot in anime, and you go like, "Well, that was lame. Like that was a lame take." Is it because the actor is bad, or is the dialogue bad? And it's neither. It's because you got like your character talking for a couple seconds. How am I gonna not only translate but make it sound good? And
The characteristics
you
from
can't.
Japanese language is different to ours, so it does sound weird.
Exactly. With any language.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly.
watching things that changed a lot for me, and then the biggest one was when I started reading manga, and then watching the adaptation of it. That I was like, I get it now. I completely get it now. It is probably like it's my favorite thing in media right now to read a manga and then see how a studio like adapts it, animates it. Yeah. And one I'm bringing in today is Dan to Dan.
Ooh, okay. This is not what I thought you were bringing. Thank God. I thought you were bringing Uzumaki.
I could talk about Uzumaki. You know what? I might have to make a sidecar conversation for Uzumaki.
Several people.
I'll join you in that if you want, because I saw the first episode and I was blown away, and then I saw what happened after. I was like, oh.
I've never seen anything.
Never seen anything.
Rumpelstiltskin clutching his toes under the desk when you said, "I'm bringing an anime." It's like no fucking way.
One of the things I learned when you adapt something is like how much work it really takes to like you, because with anime and manga, it's like it's usually one for one. Like, you know, it's like, you know, if you grow up in the West and you get like a comic book movie about Batman, it's not like exactly what you saw in the comic. It's like they take creative liberties and stuff like that. But with this, it's like it's the creator of the manga. He's drawing it, he's writing it, and you get like this kind of style that like there's no other way that like a writer or director can kind of put in their work, because they're usually not doing the grunt work of like drawing it out and putting their own style on it. But Dan to Dan it's amazing, like technically, and it's an amazing story, I think. Basically, the story is about this nerdy high school boy, who's really into UFOs and conspiracies, and everyone thinks he's a total dork. And he's like, the president went to Mars, and you know, like there's a secret conspiracy. And so, you know, kids making fun of him, all this stuff. And this girl who kind of takes an interest in him goes, "Hey, sorry you're getting picked on all the time. If it makes you feel any better, I believe in ghosts." And the nerdy kid goes, what are you fucking stupid? There's no such thing as ghosts. And the girl goes, all right, like I was just trying to be your friend, so let's make a bet. You go to the most haunted place in Japan, and I'll go to the most like sci-fi UFO sighting spot in Japan. And like whoever chickens out loses. And they're like, deal. Turns out aliens and monsters and ghosts are real. And
God.
the kid, the nerdy boy winds up getting like ghost powers, and the girl winds up getting sci-fi alien powers.
Oh, that's funny because it's like they're both different things.
And the whole plot of the story is that this the boy, he gets cursed by the spirit called Turbo Granny, and
I like Turbo the movie.
Turbo Granny, and he's like you know he's in the haunted spot. He's looking around with a flashlight, and he finds this old lady, and the old lady goes, "Let me suck your dick." He's like, "Oh, it's what?" Like, let me suck your dick. So he winds up getting cursed by Turbo Granny, and he gets possessed by like an evil spirit, and he also loses his dick and balls.
Why are you spoiling this? Why are you giving this?
This is all the first episode.
Oh my god, I gotta watch this.
Loses his dick and balls, so they're on a journey. They're on a journey to find his magical dick and balls. And,
this is a real show.
and fight aliens and monsters. And
what happened to her? Like How did she get alien powers? Because she gets abducted. Like when he gets cursed by a ghost, she simultaneously gets abducted by aliens. And while they're trying to experiment on her, she unlocks psychic powers. And the little boy, the teenage boy, has like when he's possessed, he's got like crazy ghost powers, and like he's got like a transformation into ghost mode where he's like badass.
Like Danny Phantom. Gotcha.
Super. He's got Danny Phantom mode, and
Danny castration.
The story is good, but it's the art direction. And the animation is top notch. They really know how to because when you got a scene of like two characters talking, there's a lot of animated stuff out there, especially in the West, where it feels like they're just filling for time. Like two characters are talking, like dialogue.
Yep.
Scene ends. They really don't do anything creative with the camera work or the colors or anything like that. But the studio that is doing this, Dan Science Saru, which is a really good animation company, I think they're killing it. It's and being able to read the manga beforehand and seeing how they turn it into animation is really, really cool. It's definitely and like my criteria for anime is like, is it too anime-y? Because like you got like your anime where it's like, oh, this is just dumb. It's like
Inuyasha and all that shit.
Yeah, it's like doing all like the dopey, like trying to be funny, the tropes. Yeah. It's really original. It's I think it's really, really good stuff. I highly recommend it.
I'm really interested in this show because I did not know it was that insane. Is this like a comedy or is this like serious?
It's a comedy / action.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Like those are the best kind of animes. Like my friend introduced me to this show, and like the intro to the show is like is like kind of popular because like it's all cutesy and all, and then she starts showing me like the actual lore from the show, and it's about this girl who has fucking antlers. And then they start.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god! My friend Bo-Katan or something like that.
Yeah, Bo-Katan. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
I tried watching that. That's what I'm talking about. Like it's like too cutesy. Yeah. It's like too silly. Where it's like that's like their South Park basically. It's like
that's
it's
like perfect way to describe it.
Like nonsense comedy.
I had that as well a couple years ago. I was staying at my friend's place, and he like I'm not like big into anime. He dabbles in anime, like he's seen a few, and he tried to show me this one. I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was like this game developer guy who it's either like a game developer guy or he's like he makes like he's like a D&D guy. And like he magically like wakes up from this coma where he's like, Overlord. I was in my video game world and I have video game powers.
Is that the Uncle show?
Uncle something, yeah. Uncle.
Yeah, that's actually it's funny because
it is.
Yeah, well, yeah, because that it's like it tries to be like the joke is like it's like one of those trash anime where it's like I was in a fantasy world and I met a cute, beautiful girl, and
I had a sword I could summon. And
but the main character is like just this dopey uncle who's a total nerd who doesn't understand anything. And like he's like everybody in the fantasy world thinks he's like a horrific troll because he's so ugly. And it's like he goes through like the normal tropes where like there's like a cute girl who's like, it's not that I like you or anything kind of thing. And he's just like, and she's like, I have nowhere else to stay. Can I sleep in your bed? And he's like, you can just sleep on the floor.
This is fucking.
It's like he doesn't like he's not getting any of like the softballs.
That's really funny.
You are talking about Uncle from Another World.
Yes,
Uncle from Another World.
That's what
Yes,
you're doing.
he's like he's also obsessed with Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, I remember that. I felt called
Like
out.
he's like
I felt called out.
typical weeb. And it's like
crazy.
he does the exact opposite of everything a weeb would do if they were in a fantasy world and had all these cool powers. He's just like, oh yeah, I can make fire, and like all these girls, all these girls want to talk to me for some reason. It's so annoying.
I'm reading the synopsis is like mistaken for an orc and a diehard Sega Genesis fan.
Yeah, yes.
That's amazing.
See, like,
That's
maybe
incredible.
I need to keep going because I saw like the first couple episodes, and the first couple episodes lean really hard into like the satire part of it, and it's like maybe that would just put me off. I don't know, but I remember watching that being like, this is a bit much, but I didn't know that was the joke.
It's I like that because like that is the joke. It's trying to be like, you know, the dumb anime, and it's like it's like what if the main character of this dumb anime was just a total ugly
Dumbass.
I love that show, like the English dub for Ghost Stories because of that reason.
Oh yes,
they took a dead serious anime and just made it a goof fest.
Well, that's like the only time that's ever happened where like they got the rights for that show and they were like, do you guys just want to make shit up? Like nobody's gonna stop us.
Fucking
like,
part with the rabbit where it just goes like, I'll never forget his little voice. Touch me.
they like
request, touch me harder.
I remember like they looked at a picture of the principal and they go, oh, she must be a lesbian.
Yeah. It's like, this is a real dub. Like,
and they're like, there's like a little kid running. And like, you're not running fast enough. You're like, I'm trying as hard as I can. And they go, imagine a big black man is chasing you. And it's like, it's like, yeah, they got away with it.
Oh my god, I can't believe that happened. That's so great. That like an actual.
Reminds me of Starship Troopers, how like the original book of Starship Troopers is like legitimate like pro-war propaganda, and then the movie is just, what if I took that and made fun of it endlessly for the entire thing?
It's the exact joke. But no, yeah, I would definitely, I'd recommend Dan to Dan. Even if you're not into anime, I think it's just a cool show. I have to take a sidecar here. I have to take the sidecar.
We got to talk about Uzumaki.
I gotta talk about it. Just for a little bit.
Oh my!
I agree. It's so important, man.
I've got a lightstick.
I almost made a video because like I don't make videos where I talk about things ever. So like I thought it might have been out of like style for me. But what happened with Uzumaki was so
I've never seen that before.
Astonishingly bad. Hold on.
Oh yeah, we got a light for this.
Oh my god!
No, legit.
I like how you're using like the extended lighter. Yeah, the barbecue lighter.
I couldn't. I had a lighter, but I forgot it. So Uzumaki, considered one of the best horror manga / comics ever made by Junji Ito.
Beautiful art.
He, much like the Berserk creator, seems cursed. That you would think that one of the most lauded, celebrated creators of his craft would have adaptations that aren't like complete bullshit. But for years, since he's been doing it, they've been trying to make stuff for this guy's work. Like he's got tons of spooky stories, all of them garbage. Like they gave it to the worst possible team ever. So flash forward to 5 years ago. Adult Swim announces they're going to make a Uzumaki anime. Big deal. His most iconic comic. You've probably seen like just through osmosis pictures of it like floating around on the internet.
I've seen it. The fucking eye with the incredible
the eye being sucked in. And so 5 years ago, they have this like 10-second teaser. And it's like they show that it's going to be all in black and white, like the manga. The animation looks incredible, and like the music sounds really creepy and unique. And it's like, oh my god, they actually are doing this. They're actually going to nail this. 5 years goes by, and not a peep from the production. So like during that interim,
it was that long, dude.
It was that long.
Shit. Okay.
2019.
Half a decade.
During that time, everyone was like, is this show ever coming out? Or people were like, oh, they must be working really hard on this. It's going to be fucking great. So,
Half a decade.
First episode comes out, blows away every expectation. It was unreal. It was like, holy shit, they fucking did it. The animation, the music, the acting, the pacing, it was fucking incredible. And it was like, wow, this is going to be a great 4 weeks because there's only going to be. You guys good?
There we go. Yeah, now we
cut out
got
for
it.
like a few seconds. You cut out for a few seconds on that.
Uzumaki
good.
Yeah, so
shooters.
it's the curse.
He becomes a spiral. Again.
So I was like, wow, this is probably one of the best horror things to happen ever. Like incredible. I was so.
I watched with a few of my friends, and we were just like, when it ended, we were all just like, holy shit! Like I've never seen anything like that. That was incredible.
Can't wait for the rest. So then, the second episode comes out, and immediately, like, okay, so let me paint the picture for you. I was high on mushrooms.
Oh no!
Oh my god! No!
And I was like, because I like being on mushrooms and like watching stuff that I like. I'm like, this is going to be great. First second, I was like, oh no, oh no,
Done.
The animation quality and the quality of it all dropped so hard. I was like, this has got to be a prank, right? Like,
that's what I thought. I thought it was a joke.
Maybe I took too many mushrooms and I'm imagining all of this. It has to be this because I have never seen such a drop in quality for anything. It was so bad. It was like you could have hired like a 12-year-old from YouTube. You could have animated this better with like Legos or something.
Jesus Christ.
Turns out they made that first episode, and then during this 5 years, they were just scrambling. They were like, oh, the fucking everything is falling apart. We have to find somebody else to finish this. So they got like the cheapest Chinese, like just bootleg kind of anime, like stuff like a bootleg version of a show. Like a parody. It's so bad.
Oh my god, no!
Like computer animation. It's like there's a scene where it's like there is these people running down a beach, and instead of animating it, it's like the picture just gets smaller. Like, have you ever like edited something so it's just like they're running down the beach, and just to like make it look cheap, they just shrink the image. So it looks like they're traveling in a forward direction.
The PNG side, but it is unbelievable.
That was happening, and then there was just like cutouts from the book, like South Park animated.
Yep.
Like
I was gonna say, I saw this. I saw that clip on Twitter.
Where he's just going like,
dude's falling in the spiral, and the other dude's like looking at him, and it just goes like.
It's like they just cut out like scenes from the comic and just like motion tweened it around. And it's like, I understand that shit falls apart. I get it. What happened, like, that must have sucked. I'm sure nobody planned on that happening. I mean, obviously someone's at fault because it's a fucking disaster. Like, this isn't just a mistake. Somebody fucked up. Somebody really fucked up because when it all fell apart, they decided to go with like, oh God, we got to fix this now. Get the cheapest Chinese motherfuckers you can imagine. And just to patch this all together, and it's unfucking believable how bad it looks. I will say,
I can't believe this was allowed to air. I can't believe this was allowed to air.
I can't believe
the Wikipedia, right? The Wikipedia picture.
Yeah.
The first episode has all these people listed on it, and then the others just have nobody. It's like
it's the opposite. It's the opposite.
Yep. Oh, it's the opposite. Okay, sorry.
It's because it's like the first episode had like 2 talented directors working on it. And then the second one, it was like Ji Xing from like it's gonna sound.
It was like 7 fucking people. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, it was just like.
It's like the Chinese Gopher animation. It's like the Chinese Gopher.
Yeah.
What are the principles?
They just gave it to like 20 random Chinese guys who can't animate. Like I can't animate, and I'm not trying to like this isn't a hyperbole. I could have done better. I have no animation history. I could have made that look better, which is.
I'm just imagining like that Gravity parody that you did like years ago with like fucking Intergrav.
That would have been better.
Yeah.
So the helm of Adult Swim anime, who's a fucking asshole. Like, everything. He's the guy who behind the FLCL remakes, and those all fucking suck.
Yep.
And he was one of those guys who were like, "Oh, if you don't get the COVID vaccine, you deserve to lose your job." It's like,
yeah, exactly. It's just like, what is happening here? What are we doing? Like,
and
very weird.
So he takes to Blue Sky in a now deleted tweet and says, "Yeah, sorry guys. The production fell apart, and we had a choice to make. Do we leave one episode and then drop the rest, or do we like hire other people
just
and fix
plow
it?"
through it? Yeah.
And like I understand that that's a noble thing you want to do, but the people that they hired were the worst, like literally like the worst you could have chosen. Like they saw this, like somebody said, like this is the worst people we got. You want these guys? Like yeah, let's get the worst. The worst motherfuckers we can get.
And they were like, you.
Yeah.
Indeed.
The other
animation for Adult Swim, $6 an hour.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, that was slave labor.
100%.
They were paid in pennies.
Yep.
The other two episodes were not as bad, but man, you fucking had something. You had something beautiful. And they just shat.
That first
the last time that
incredible, man.
The last time that Adult Swim truly wowed me was Primal. Like, show. Like,
yes.
I fucking love that show so much.
Yeah.
The ending's a little weird still. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet, but it's a little
they
odd.
had to
Because Samurai Jack's ending was weird too, right? It wasn't Samurai Jack's.
It was.
Gendy's got this weird thing where he doesn't know how to end things, I think. So,
which is fine. I mean, like his other show wasn't great. The Unicorn.
I didn't finish it. Yeah, I never finished it.
He's good sometimes. He can't catch a break either. It's like
that dog movie he's got coming out is like
apparently it's going to get Zav-slaved. Like
which is
weird because it's Sony, which is like Sony can put out Sausage Party, but they don't want to put this in.
They won't. Yeah, they won't put out. Yeah,
Sausage Party, the most embarrassing like vanity project for Seth Rogen of all time, and it just turned and just what a shame.
Stupid.
What a
garbage.
shame.
And this guy Junji Ito, the creator, this funny that this kind of ties in a long line of disappointments. He was originally going to be the monster designer on the canceled Silent Hills.
Yep.
And
oh shit! I didn't even know that. Know that.
Del Toro.
What a trio that would have been. Del Toro, Kojima, and Eat like holy shit.
Well, now we have what's the thing he's doing now? What's the game again? What's the game called that he's doing?
OD Overdose. I don't know.
OD. Yeah. Wait.
He's such a fucker. He's such a fucker because the Silent Hills thing. I could talk about that for hours. About like how they ruined what could have been one of the best things that ever happened to video games. But Hideo Kojima, he's like a little fucking troll. Like he's
such an asshole.
He'll make little references to it. So when they announced that OD thing that he's doing with
oh my god, yeah, we talked about this in the we talked
with
about
Hunter Schafer and all those other actors.
Well, he steps out onto stage, but he they built the PT door. Like the door that you walk at the beginning of PT, they recreated it and have Hideo Kojima walk outside of it. So everybody watching was like, "Oh, yeah, they did it! Like he's gonna come back."
And he's got Jordan Peele. What? And then he's like,
nope. This is another game I'm working on. It's like, why would you do that? Like,
that was.
Why would you do that? Unless
I didn't know until you told me that was supposed to be that was the Silent Hill the PT door.
Was. It's 100%. You put those pictures side by side.
I'm not gonna mention that game until a little bit later because that's what we're gonna do.
Well, it's a good transition right now. So
When you told me that, I was oh man. No.
I was watching the gameplay of that. I was watching the gameplay of PT because I actually never watched like the whole thing. I remember just seeing like bits of it and being like, oh, that looks interesting. Now that I'm a big Silent Hill guy now, I went back and I watched it and I'm just like, holy fuck.
Save it. I do want to
exactly.
talk about it more.
We're gonna talk about that.
I was
get
too
into it.
scared. I was too much of a little pussy to watch.
So, Mike, how many stars would you give Don or whatever? What's it called?
I'd give it
Dan.
So far, I'd give it a perfect rating. I'd say it's great fun. It's funny. It's got cool action. It really when it comes to anime, it's pretty unique in terms of like the tone and the characters. I'd say it's just overall really, really good. Even if you fucking think anime is stupid and for losers,
Stupid and dumb,
which you would have a right to think.
Yep.
I'd say check it out. Still, I'd say check. There's
I was gonna say
since I read the manga, the episode 4 is coming out on Thursday. And if it's the chapter from the manga, then it's going to be a good episode.
I read the title of it. I won't spoil it, but I read the title of it and I was like, well. I will say, I think this is a good consideration for us to watch on the Patreon at some point.
That would be a fun watch.
Oh, it's a good watch. It's probably even better watch with friends.
Oh yeah.
Is this the one where like it's like from the guys that like choreograph something from John Wick or something like that?
No, that's
the new
Lazarus. That's
Lazarus.
Lazarus
Okay,
coming out.
never mind.
Which
But yeah,
I am so fucking excited for. I'm
excited for that, but if Adult Swim fucks me on this,
they don't have a good track record, man.
Do you like PNGs? Do you like PNGs?
Dude, the first episode's
up-
gonna be like beautiful. The first episode's gonna be beautiful, and the second episode's gonna be a bunch of like Spike Spiegel PNGs.
People saw the first episode at New York Comic Con recently. People saw that first episode. They said it was fucking brilliant, and I'm just like, please be more.
It's the Cowboy Bebop guy.
Yeah,
right?
exactly, and the John Wick guy as well. So that's going to be fucking.
Chad Stahelski, man. Oh,
you would think it sounds good on paper.
God, please.
I'm hoping, man. I'm praying.
We'll see.
Hey, welcome to the plug section.
It's Kirby! We found him! We did it!
Hello everybody, this is beloved content creator Donut Cast, creator of the funny Trump McDonald's meme that is somehow
for some reason
like
it doesn't even touch the human head.
Dude, I went on a meme compilation yesterday and it was in it. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna see this fucking meme everywhere.
Dude, a bunch of grifters are gonna like see that and think it's like actually serious. They'll be like, yeah, he knows, right? He knows.
There was an Instagram post and they tagged me in it, which I appreciate when you fucking post me fucking credit the creator. But like the comments, like half of them are like serious, like this is against Trump. How can he make fun of such an icon like this? Like,
yeah, dude, sometimes the dick writers are like insane, man. It's like, okay, it's
anyway,
a joke, dude.
If you made it halfway through the pod, hi, how's it going? We are going to quickly plug because that's what we do here. Wyatt, if I want to get some really cool merch, especially this time of the fucking month, because we just dropped a bunch of new shit, where can I go?
Man. You can go to WWEshop.com. No, I'm joking. You can go
there
to
it is!
WWEshop.com.
Look at this hat! This is a new hat. Look at it.
Yes, the initials. God. WWE. The initials.
Yes. Girl Wrestling Entertainment. There it is. But yeah, no, we have loads of cool shit with our new logo on it. Please check it out. We got a new jumper. We got a new hoodie. We got a new hoodie. We got new hats and everything. Just check it out. There's some cool shit on there.
But Donut Cass. We talked about things that never touch the human hand. You know what else is never going to touch the human hand, but you can watch with your eyes and listen with your ears, and maybe only for $3 a month, and maybe even a week free trial.
Oh my god, that's insane! I could go to
what can I do?
One of the greatest website URLs I've ever seen. Very, very good. Very, very nice. There's some great content in there. I've seen first timers, and we all love a first timer. Very nice, very good. But most importantly, very good dubs on there. There was an Incredibles one. There was, and I gotta say,
it was so incredible.
To the name, so incredible. And my balls are gone. They're gone.
Have you ever been to Cologne, Italy?
We got some more content coming out. I will mention this now because we kind of alluded to it earlier in the pod. We recorded an entire movie watch along of Silent Hill with Mike, and for some reason it just didn't save, and we lost everything. So we did apologize.
It won't happen again.
and everything, but it will not happen again.
But we figured this is more than worthy of a good apology if you want.
Absolutely, this is a great pod, and we want to thank Mike for being here again. But just watch out, because we got some really cool stuff coming, even a Halloween special.
Ooh. I may or may not have gotten my
spooky guest.
You
I may or may not
definitely
have
not
a
tell that I recorded this afterwards because the sun is gone.
sun is down.
I'm in a freezing cold.
Hey, big guy. Sun's getting real low.
That movie gives me a illness every time I watch it. Fuck that movie.
Speaking of
Anyway,
illness,
thank you for being here. Support Good Bad Bruv. Enjoy the rest of the episode. We're going to talk about horror video games now, so please enjoy that. But Mike is a legend, and you are a legend for being here, so thank you. And enjoy the rest of the podcast. Simon, hit it with your favorite pose.
Oh, favorite pose? Silent Hill. We already made the joke.
Do it. Yeah!
Thumbnail.
that's
Oh my god, do it quick, Wyatt. Do it quick. This is the thumbnail.
Wyatt, quick.
No. Go back. Go do
Thumbnail.
it, Wyatt.
Why? Do
how
it.
do I do that?
Get
Look
close
into
to the camera.
Just look at the camera. Just
Oh
look
yeah.
at
Oh
the-
fucking.
Our wives left us.
Anyway, folks.
Before we move on to our next topic, I want to mention something that happened recently in real life that I thought was really funny. So while we were recording the Patreon thing for Goosebumps, I mentioned that I fucking hilariously fell off my e-scooter again.
Again.
Oh yeah.
So that bitch is gone. I got rid of that motherfucker.
Good.
It's gone. He's dead.
They go fast.
Oh, it's horrifying. It took so long to get used
Peter
to that.
Parker over here with the pizzas. Fucking-
I chop my.
Would you say that you were going at turbo speed, Cass?
Turbo.
My favorite snail. And thanks for joining it. No,
Every episode.
No, that's happened in a while. That's what's great about it.
yeah, the turbo thing hasn't happened in a while, man. I love
Why you
it.
laughed so much when I said Turbo Granny?
Yeah, I was just like the snail.
Well, now you said Turbo Granny with all the seriousness of a
Turbo
proper
Granny.
news report.
Anyway,
I was like,
Turbo Granny.
The only reason I'm mentioning this again is because that happened more than a week ago, and it's only now bruising. I already
Ouchie.
showed Wyatt and Simon a picture of it, but my arm looks fucking crazy right now.
Ow.
Holy shit.
Look at that guy.
That's fucked up, man.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes.
The hematoma
Cody
right there,
Rhodes.
buddy.
The
Cody
last
Rhodes,
time, the last time I used an electric scooter, I shot my Achilles tendon in a really embarrassing way.
Oh.
I went to a liquor store, and this guy comes at me.
Great setup already.
He's speaking in Spanish, like heavy Spanish, very light English, heavy, one English word for like every five Spanish.
with my head, man. You messed with my head.
Yeah.
Not even that. It was 99% Spanish, and he's like talking at me, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know what you're saying. So like I'm getting on my scooter, and he's like, oh, Donald Trump guy. I'm like, huh?
What?
And so I'm like, okay, bye.
And then he goes, like he just like,
Yeah. So I go to step on the scooter.
You touch the human head.
But the I don't know if yours is the same because it was like a Lime scooter, and the bottoms of those are extremely heavy, and I had it lifted up, and the bottom spun around and just clipped my heel and just scraped it. So and I fall in the middle of the road with oncoming traffic coming. So I'm like,
they just don't stop.
What was going through your head in that moment? What was going through your head in the moment you fell?
I wish I was dead. Because now the Mexican guy is pointing and laughing at me, and I'm like, I don't even know what this guy thinks. Thought I was a Trump guy because I didn't want to talk to him, and then I'm just like, I'm hobbling away with my Achilles tendon bleeding, and was like,
Sleepy Achilles. Sleepy Achilles.
Lime scooters.
You hate this
And I was like,
Oh my god.
yeah, I'm done with
amazing.
electric scooters after that.
Yep.
Mythological hero Ageless.
Brother, I learned my lesson, bro. I learned my
I
lesson.
learned my lesson today, baby.
Anyway.
That's why I walk everywhere. Just gotta walk everywhere.
Main event of today's pod is a very cool discussion. We wanted to talk specifically about horror video games. So,
Sure
Wyatt,
do.
I think we should start
because you got me riled up the moment you mentioned it. It's PT, this
Yep.
fucking demo that came out of nowhere, and Kojima was just like, "Hey, I did this thing, and it's more of an experience, and you can go and you can try it out." And he didn't say what fucking.
That's a great impression, by the way. Hey, it's really good. You're gonna love it.
It's a great game.
It's a great. Kojima just sounds like Rally Trump.
They're calling it Silent Hill.
It's not quiet
I don't believe it's that silent yet. It makes a lot of noise. I think it's quite scary. Actually.
Yeah, it's just scary.
There was no revelation in that Silent Hill revelation. Absolutely.
Norman Reedus. Can you believe this, folks? Norman Reedus.
What a great guy! I loved him in the.
We love Norman.
We love
Norman
him.
Reedus.
Great guy.
Norm Macdonald.
I wish.
So
Normus,
that was one of the biggest nights of my life because at that point, like I was a Silent Hill fan from the beginning. At that point, the well was thought to be dried up. It was like, this is a dead IP. Nothing good will ever happen again. And then Kojima does that thing, and they're like, I got a special game. I'm not going to say what it is. And then you boot it up, and the loading thing of it is like the cult symbol from Silent Hill. And I was like, no fucking way. No fucking way. And then you're playing it, and you're like, oh my God, I think this is a Silent Hill game. And then if you finished it, which was pretty difficult, fucking you get the teaser. Silent Hill with Norman Reedus and Hideo Kojima.
And I played the music too, right?
Yeah, and Del Toro. It's like, oh my fucking God! Like this is going to be beautiful. It was one of the scariest games ever made, and it was a teaser demo.
It was a demo. Yeah.
It was a fucking demo.
I imagine your reaction like Mo from The Simpsons, where he's looking at the news. He's like, "Not today, old friend."
Yeah, not today, old friend.
Yeah.
And very quickly reversed. Very quickly reversed.
Yeah,
that was. I thought that life was worth living again. It was truly like, wow, like something amazing is about to happen. Like they're bringing back Silent Hill. They've got the best people in the world to be working on it. The demo was incredible, and then it died. And then it
died
before filmmakers were really crossing over with video games too. So when you see Guillermo del Toro's attached to it, you're like,
and Norman Reedus like in the game, you're like, what?
Yeah.
And I remember like,
you just love Death Stranding. Don't you just love Death Stranding?
It's fine.
I do like it. I do like. I appreciate like that he gets a lot of flack for it, but
that's the only station right there.
He's the only person that's trying something different with video games.
It was different, yeah.
Listen. I was supposed to say my piece.
Hit me.
I don't hate Death Stranding as much as I did when I first
played it.
When I first played it, I was like, "Yes, I did. Fuck you."
Okay.
I played through it. I didn't finish. I didn't finish it, is what I said. I got like a solid halfway through, and I was like, "I hate this. I'm not enjoying it. I don't find the story enjoyable whatsoever. I'm not enjoying walking." But I do agree. I have respect. Obviously, I respect Hideo Kojima. He's one of the most like creative minds in all of video games. I would never take that away from him. It doesn't change the fact that like it's just not for me whatsoever. Yeah, and I did not. If it was a series or a movie, I might be able to fuck with it.
They're doing a movie, so get hype.
Yeah, I might be able to fuck with the movie. I can't fuck with it as a game fucking love. It's not fun.
I played the part like I was playing that game like recently, a couple months ago. And there's a part where you're just kind of like walking up this hill or whatever, and the camera kind of pans out, and it plays like almost like a music video, and I'm just like,
yes, yeah,
just so different and unique. I've never played this type of thing in a game before, and I'm really liking it. Very it's really cool.
And I can respect that. Again, I respect.
I'll go back and play it again at some point, but I've not finished it yet by any means. But
I can respect.
I like what it is doing. Yeah,
just not. I can't respect it as a gameplay thing. I can't. It's not fun. I don't have fun with it.
100% with him there.
Yeah.
It's like Hideo Kojima. Like at the time, it's funny that this link even happened because he's one of the only people that gets that with video games you can do something that's not video games and not movies either. Like you can craft a story that you play and immerse yourself in a way that you've never experienced a story before.
Yes.
And it's like just from the presentation alone is like, wow, this is like captivating. Like I've never seen anything like this. So at the time, like Silent Hill 2 came out, the only other video game that was really like pushing the boundaries of what you can do with a story in a video game was like Metal Gear 2. Where it's like, Metal Gear 1 was good, but Metal Gear 2, they were like, what can we do?
Did they have like a 2-hour cutscene at one point or something?
Very
The extent of Metal Gear 1 gets to like the craziness is the Psycho Mantis. Oh, I see you play Castlevania. Like that.
Yeah.
That's the first
You
taste of it. Yeah.
Well, just like the meta aspect of like you're basically playing a self-insert of a player. Like, Raiden was supposed to be like you essentially.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, and like you're like you always look up to Solid Snake because he's the hero of the first game.
But you can't play as him. It's like, I
can't play as him.
Yep.
And which was
Very
like
ballsy,
everybody at everybody at the time was like, why would you make a Metal Gear game where you can't play as the hero? And he's like, I got a better idea. Like,
because fuck you.
you don't have those. He's the only person who would make that kind of shot today, like where it's like, hey, everybody wants this, but I want to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
And fuck sales, fuck the algorithm. This is what I want to do.
I fuck with that so hard too,
Well,
especially in that
and
industry.
you look at it in totality with the overall narrative of Metal Gear, and it works tremendously overall. I think, like especially even Metal Gear 5, he does the same thing at the end with the twist in that game, which is absolutely insane.
Well, it's like he's got the thing where it's like even with a filmmaker, you think to yourself, can anybody else do this? And the answer is no. Like, no, it's like if you made a Metal Gear game, and they made a Metal Gear game without him, and nobody fucking liked it.
Horrendous.
With creativity, with books, music, movies, anything, the creator behind it should be his thing. And like the world we're living in now, where it's like somebody makes an IP, and then you could just endlessly like, oh, this guy is directing Batman now, or this guy is doing Superman now. You lose any heart of like a creative spark of being like, I want to tell this story. Now it's like, well, we want to make a bunch of money. Let's hire somebody to do this.
We don't want to do that.
We don't want to.
We don't give a shit.
We just want to sell copies. Like, we're not trying to reinvent the genre. We're not trying to make a statement.
Exactly.
We just want to make a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
And
that's accurate.
Comes down
That's-
to
I'm glad that worked out well with that game Concord that just came out. That worked out so well. They made so much money.
I
from
hope
that.
Oh my god.
it's like you would think that this would be a big wake up call for developers.
Nope.
But
Wow.
But
It didn't work.
even
Let's
not
try it
just
again.
Concord, like just game development in general. Like you thought that Avengers would be the wake up call, and then you thought that fucking Suicide Squad game was going to be the wake up call, and none of it
No.
was.
I knew that was doomed from the start.
But
Yeah.
no, we knew that, and I'm sure they knew it wasn't going to work. But they don't get the memo that it doesn't that it doesn't work. They don't understand.
yeah, they forgot to make it fun, which is
Which is what video games are.
they don't need it to be fun.
It was fun, and it put you in the shoes of Batman. That's why people liked Batman Arkham.
As long as you get that money back from your initial investment, that's all that matters.
Simon, I always knew I wanted to be Captain Boomerang from the very beginning.
From the very beginning, yeah.
I came out of the womb and I threw a boomerang. That's
actually-
what I knew.
The Woomerang.
That's an interesting. That's an interesting one right there. Actually, what was the first game you were actually spooked in?
Oh,
Like
Silent
the
Hill
first
2.
video game. Silent Hill 2. That was the first one you played that was actually spooked. Yep.
That was because that is I have like a rating system for Silent Hill, like how I kind of like my barometer of how I know it's a good game or a good Silent Hill game is when you get to a safe area, like a safe space. How scared am I to go back out there? Like to go back out into the hotel or to the hospital, and Silent Hill 2. We'll get to the remake. But like the original Silent Hills, like that was when I knew like I'm scared. Like it's not like like a thing popped out and scared me. I'm scared to keep going. Like I'm
because I don't want to hear the sound of something on the top floor or like above me.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear those sounds anymore. Like it's like that.
It fills it in. It uses like how horror is supposed to. Like it's like show not
Even
tell.
still, the save screen itself is like unsettling because it's just James looking directly at you with a red filter. Like
I have
fucking
My aunt.
yeah, exactly.
yes.
That's the thumbnail. Those are the thumbnail looks right there. Freaking.
Yeah,
Just doing the red. Yeah.
When Silent Hill 2 came out, and this is something I struggled trying to tell people like who weren't there at the time, but you really you really had to be there at the time to like truly appreciate like. I hate saying that because it makes me sound like a boomer, but it's true. It's like Jacob's Ladder, for instance. Like at the like in 2001, like nobody had really. It wasn't a popular movie. Like nobody really knew psychological horror was a thing. You know, like horror was like, there's a monster chasing me. You know, it wasn't
Exactly.
like an introspective, meditative kind of look into the psyche of man.
Yeah.
And when I was playing, like when I used to play those games, it was like, wow, like I love this, but I want to stop. Like that's when I know I'm like, oh, you're doing good. The game's doing a good job. Because if I'm afraid, because I know the enemies, like I know what to expect, but like throughout that entire game, I'm like, I don't want to go back out there. I don't want to. Like it's spooky.
Yeah. There was a part where I forgot. In the remake, I actually forgot this happened in the original, and it reminded me when I was playing the original Silent Hill 2. There's a part you walk into that room, and you just out of nowhere hear this whispering, like,
yes,
it's like
I fucking hate that shit in any movie.
You know
it destroys me.
Do you know the story behind that?
I actually don't.
This is dumb Silent Hill lore. For years, that section of the game was like for fans on forums and everything. Like, what are they saying? Like, what is this? What is the narrative point of this scene? And it was speculated on for years. Turns out, it was just the audio of someone preparing their lines. Like they were they were going, okay, so and then then James is going to say this, and then I do that, and then someone listened to it and they were like, hey, this is kind of scary. Why don't we just put it in the game?
That's awesome. Brilliant. Wow. That's
there
amazing.
used to be a lot of happy mistakes like that. Like there was a hole here and it's gone now.
Yeah.
I think that came from a designer coder was putting notes into like I guess the level. And I think he came across something where it's like, oh, there was a hole here and it's gone now.
And they just
put that in the game.
It's almost like, hey, out of context, that's pretty spooky.
God.
Wow, it feels like life was just better at one point when people were making games. I feel like there was a lot more morale. People were happy. They actually wanted to make something. And now
you could
everyone
really
is just
experiment. You could really experiment with what you wanted to do. Like it wasn't as, I guess, like tight-laced and corporate as it is right now. But other like scary games at the time, I guess Resident Evil would be the only one I can think of, and it's
played
scary. It's scary.
They're more action though. That's the thing. They've always been more action based. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Resident Evil is the kind of game where like your cop buddy could swoop in with a rocket launcher, be like, here you go,
exactly,
blow up this guy.
The fifth one, the 2-player one.
Yeah, that's the co-op one.
You're punching boulders.
Bonkers.
Yeah. I will say this about like as far as video game remakes go, I think Resident Evil 2 is one of the best remakes ever. It is so fucking fun.
It's like right up there with the Crash Insane trilogy. I think is like one of the best. Like not for horror, obviously. Although Crash Bandicoot is a fucking freak.
Somebody
edit that little bit that you just did about like the whispering, but it's just
James walks into the room, he just hears very quiet. Simon, what was your? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Simon, I have two big ones, I think, and I guess kind of a third one, but I was more so the third one I was going to mention was how Mike talking about like player, like the meta side of it. When we were talking about Kojima. I'll go on to that, like, because it reminds me a lot of the first BioShock, which is, in terms of imagery, is iconic, and it is scary. You talk about being scared to go places. Anywhere where there's a Big Daddy, you're shitting your pants in that game. Like it's tense, it's heavy, but even like obviously the would you kindly the twist in BioShock is a perfect use of player agency, and like you've immersed yourself so much into this world that you don't even realize that you're having your strings pulled from the beginning by somebody who the only person that you are led to trust for like pretty much the entire game for a good chunk of the game has been playing you like a fiddle for the entire time, and you don't think about that because you're the silent protagonist, you're you, but then you realize that I the player and Jack the character has been completely used like nothing.
You're telling a story that can only be told in a video game.
Yes.
I brought this up in our last podcast about The Last of Us. Like, no matter how good your adaptation is, you just can't recreate like the agency of like you're the player and you're discovering this on your own terms. Like if they recreate that scene in a BioShock movie, it's not even going to hit half as hard.
It's not going to be that. I remember reading the script. I remember there was that script, the Gore Verbinski script for BioShock, and they talk about how like. Because Jack in the movie, like you can't have a silent protagonist in the movie, like it doesn't work. Like you can't, you literally can't do it. That's why I feel like BioShock Infinite is more open to an adaptation because Booker DeWitt is an actual character, and I still really enjoy that game, even though it's not as impactful as the first BioShock overall.
I like that one too.
As a story,
a lot of fun.
And I'm looking forward to Ken Levine's next game, the Judas, the spaceship one. I'm actually kind of intrigued about that.
Looks like BioShock in space.
Yeah,
I'm willing to let it. I'm willing to like see what it is at least because Ken hasn't made a story since Infinite and the DLCs. So I'm gonna try and like see what he's got because clearly he's had to be thinking of something for the last 12 years, right? It's like fucking. But my other
gotta protect those developers.
Yeah, wait, what? Sorry.
Gotta protect those kind of developers.
Yeah,
ideas.
100%.
Because he was like, dude, for the first BioShock, like he was in that same vein of Kojima. It's like nobody else was doing that kind of shit, you know. Like
Ken Levine actually wanted to do a film remake actually of Logan's Run at one point. I remember that was a big thing.
Oh, interesting choice.
Actually, he was developing that at one point, and just nothing happened. They're just like, this is you're a game guy. What are you doing here?
It's nice
sir?
to see you guys talking about like these franchises and shit because it really does suck that nowadays it's more about you've got a semi-cool idea. Let's whitewash the shit out of it and fucking throw it in the bleach and fuck it in the washer and then just
That's what
make
I'm
a
saying.
shit ton of money off of it. It's like no,
they just did that. Bong Joon-ho's next film, Mickey 17.
Mickey 17, yes.
There was a controversy where apparently the studio came in and said, "Hey, man, we got to change a bunch of shit, like to make this more appetizing to a general audience."
This is still a guy who just won Best Picture. This man just
I know.
Just
let him cook.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Unbelievable.
But now my one that brought up. So people might think I'm only wearing this because we're talking video games, but I put it on. I actually was thinking to myself, I actually do want to give a quick shout out. Obviously, I am not putting The Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask on the same tier of horror as a Silent Hill or Resident Evil.
It's pretty spooky.
But I wanted to mention it because you look at games like this is a game that is literally made for children. This is a game that is made for kids. But the imagery in Majora's Mask stands out beyond just being iconic with Zelda. It's just unsettling. Like, I can't get over how whenever you're playing that game and you turn around and you look up, that moon is staring at you for the entire thing.
For you.
It's bearing down. Yeah,
exactly.
And it's gonna kill off.
Not just imagery, but even just the story, just the sheer concept of it. Like, this giant moon is going to crash into the earth, and you have to
stop a planet-sized thing from killing everyone.
And if you don't go back in time, like, you're dead. Like, everything's gone. Everyone you ever known is gone. It's like, it's just for
the
fucking
world
kids,
of
bro.
Termina. It's the only one of these Zelda games that doesn't focus on Hyrule. It's in Termina, which is an entirely different thing. And Termina is so much more like odd in its geography and the way it's laid out and the NPCs you talk to. There's one side mission in Majora's Mask. It's the farm. It's Romani, and she's like this farm girl. And if you show up after the incident happens, like apparently aliens fucking showed up and like raided the farm, and they did something to Romani. They don't tell you what they did to Romani, which makes it way more like uncomfortable. Like,
they got away with a lot more twisted concept.
It was rated E too, which is insane. This was rated E for everyone.
Dude, the concept of the Skull Kid, like the Skull Kid and like his malice was born out of being like abandoned by his friends and his fear of loneliness, and the mask like preyed on that. It's really like when you think about it, it's really fucked up. And I think that's why when you get the best ending of Majora's Mask, it feels so much better. Like when you go out of your way to help everybody in that game in the side quest,
it's great.
And then you liberate the Skull Kid and you free him. It's you feel good. Like the best horror stuff is when like you feel good for having done the right thing at the end of it. I feel like because you've gone through hell and back just to fix everything. So that's that was my youngest because my cousin he was a big Zelda guy.
We had that segment before where we were like, what Zelda game would you pick for this movie that's coming out? And I was like, Majora's Mask would be so.
Majora's Mask has the
How
most
would they
narrative
do that
potential.
though? Because I feel like another thing with that, this is why I'm like kind of like fearful of them doing like a remake of that game. It's because I feel like the graphics help add to that spookiness of it.
Oh, 100%.
Like this N64, like the Happy Mask salesman just doing
Ben
like,
Drowned.
like
Ben Drowned would not be as scary if it was not with N64. Like it's not even.
That
it's not
thing
even
is so
Imagine that on
weird.
the current like Mario Odyssey clay fucking.
Have you
style.
guys seen there was that I think it was like 2014 or 2013 somebody made like that CGI animated short. I think it's just called Terrible Fate and it's Skull Kid find the Majora's Mask and he puts it on. It's
pretty good.
It's Pixar production quality. Like it's that high quality like in the way that it's made and I highly recommend it. It's genuinely unnerving.
It's really good, yeah. I remember that.
And then my other one Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
I was going to say what you said about horror games kind of losing something when you go more towards the future. It's very true because when you work with limitations, the ways you kind of figure out how to get around them is where you really start to see like innovation and creativity. Like you don't have to see every single pore on somebody's face if you got like a good style. Like look at the Wind Waker.
That's kind of why I like indie games. Like, I mean, obviously, you know, I'm not gonna fucking sit here and praise it, but Five Nights at Freddy's did something.
That was gonna be my next
one's
one.
good.
That was gonna be my
something.
next discussion.
Like,
I never understood them.
It's fair.
so I don't get it, but the fourth one is fucking terrifying.
Is it?
Because you're playing a kid. You're a child. You're putting the
You're a
shoes on a
child
literal
in
child.
your bedroom,
and there's like
the
so
corridors. You have to like flash the light, and like
but it's just the monsters. They pop out and scream at you.
exactly. So like it's a
that's
cheap
not
jump scare game. But in
That's-
that game, the mechanic where you literally have to sit there in silence and listen to if you can hear like footsteps in the background, like fucking
and then, like it's
out of
it's,
nowhere, just bang.
I would say I do like the sense of dread. Like I do like that more so than just like the jump scares.
Listen, I am not going to be the one to defend what Five Nights at Freddy's has become in the modern zeitgeist. It's a
Don't want to
fucking
talk about
mess.
it.
The story is an incomprehensible, jumbled clusterfuck beyond all recognition.
What have you done? What have you done?
I'll say this about FNAF.
FNAF.
Wyatt mentioned it. Yes, I'm doing the dude abbreviation.
The abbreviation.
God, I feel you made me feel old there. I don't know how that happened. But the dread and the buildup is what is scary about Five Nights at Freddy's. Like the first game in particular, you're sitting in this room and you just hear the constant blaring of the fan, the fucking brrrr. Whenever you turn on the lights, it's all like like they have all these little sounds and it really immerses you into it. The jump scare is like
I want the cut of the game where you're voicing everything.
I was just about to say those are some excellent sound effects.
even like the blast doors, like they have like these big fucking like they
I
just
never
like
thought
slam.
about that, by the way. You work in a pizzeria. There's fucking like Space Marine blast doors.
Yeah, what is that?
You know what I mean?
And even listen again, the lore to Five Nights at Freddy's is ridiculous.
Too much.
But at a point, I would say the first 3 games, even though the third game is ridiculous, how you get the good ending and you gotta like type shit into like a tiled wall. It's absolutely ridiculous, right?
14-year-old me watching Markiplier click on a specific tile on the wall.
But no, it's like at a certain point, it was about atmosphere and it had a consistent tone and it had a story to tell. And at a certain point, it was over. And then Scott Cawthon said, "I've made millions of dollars. I'm not."
That's
stopping.
my point. I made a shit ton of money, so I'm gonna give this to someone, and they're gonna design something, and I'm gonna make a shit ton of money off of
Like,
it.
I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course, we all would.
Can't
And
blame
when you
him,
know
but
what-
it's a shame, you know.
When you know where Scott came from, like Scott made the first Five Nights at Freddy's as like a last, like that was his last ditch effort. That was supposed to be his last game because his game development career had been failing. He was poor. He thought he had to go find another job, and his last ditch effort to make something made one of the biggest horror franchises ever.
Because what he
which I can
did
respect.
was that he capitalized on something that was huge at that time period. In the early 2010s, people were obsessed with like that that type of shit, like the creepypasta shit, and like
Slenderman.
like Slender Man,
Killer,
like all that like childhood stuff. But if it was scary,
And like the first few games got that fear, I think. Oh, Sonic. Oh my god. If you
Sonic.exe.
no. If you found Sonic.exe unironically like scary at any point, I don't know what to say to you. Like please go outside.
Were you
Go
guys
watch
around when Marble Hornets first came out?
Oh,
I
the
know what it
Slender Man,
was.
like the show.
That's
yeah.
where Slender Man came from, right? Is that where
Yeah.
it came from?
Yeah.
It was so good.
It was like a documentary type of thing, right? It was like
Well, no, it was like a meta thing because like it was under the guise of like he's uploading these videos to YouTube and this is all actually happening, like an ARG.
oh, that's cool.
That's
And
great.
he had like a fake Twitter page. You know, he's like, you know, where he would talk about behind the scenes stuff. Like YouTube used to have this thing called video replies, where you could reply to a video with your own video.
Yeah.
And it would be underneath the video. And he was doing this thing where it was like there was another character in the Marble Hornets universe that was like spying on him. So like he would upload a video of him in the woods or something like that. And the video response would be like somebody in the same woods spying on him. And he's like, guys, there's a
That's
fucking
that's
genius.
momentum
Cool.
as fuck.
like
That's
somebody
so
on
momentum.
YouTube is like following me, and it was like
That's so
it was
genius.
so good.
That's incredible, goddamn.
And
And
you
didn't they
see
make a
shit like that?
movie? They tried to do a movie or something.
It
Well,
wasn't
they made
them.
Slender Man. They made Slender
Oh, it
Man.
wasn't them?
A movie.
Yeah,
which was-
at that
which was
point, I
horrendous.
think at that point the IP had gotten away from them. They were like,
Yeah.
Oh no!
it's like we didn't come up with
Simon.
Slenderman to begin with, so like
Yeah.
we really can't say you guys are stealing our ideas. If we did it too,
Yeah.
and
Slenderman movie.
yeah, and then also you got the murders, so that probably hindered.
Yeah, people were kind of turned off by it.
That story was horrific. Like
That
that
was
was a fucking horrible.
The
It's
internet
not murders.
sucks, man.
Attempted murder.
It's still like dude,
Yeah.
The internet
Insane.
fucking
kids,
sucks,
literal
man.
kids were doing that. Children.
Dude, you know what? It spawned that one funny thing from Family Guy where they just go, "It's Slender Man, kill yourself."
Kill yourself.
Kill yourself.
Peter.
Yeah.
I'll say you still see a good amount of that kind of like Marble Hornets in a lot of like modern analog horror. Like because I've been kind
There's
of
a couple good ones.
Yeah, like Vita Carnus, like that's actually kind of scary. I don't know if you guys have heard of Vita Carnus. It's
I
actually
never heard of that one. No.
So it's a really fucking weird concept. It's like this like meat processing like company. There's like this disease, this like termite that gets into their meat.
Oh,
and then
I already hate this.
turns into like meat monsters, like raw meat monsters and shit like that. And it's just documenting how they like it distributes across the world and it spreads as a lot of this weird handheld camera footage. It's genuinely it's ridiculous, but it's fucking scary at a couple moments. Like, oh my god.
The guy who runs the official Backrooms videos,
Yes.
they are incredible. They're amazing.
Dude,
Well, I mean, I know,
we
like,
need more
you
of
know,
that ingenuity. More of that
Yeah, like
ingenuity.
there's you know, obviously the Backrooms is like a meme now, like a creepypasta.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
But the
Exactly.
official videos they're so good, and it's
sheer
like
concept of that is
99% is just a guy walking around a place.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of shit I'm talking about. They
If you could convince a bunch of people to just be scared of liminal spaces like that because of the fact that there might be something around that corner, you just haven't seen it yet. It's
I want to say this too about that. Like, I love shit like that, like liminal space shit like that. Like, that shit is so cool. And like, there's no movie or anything that really has grasped that feeling yet. I don't think.
No, it's
or any
new.
game, really.
It's
It's
too
very new. Exactly.
very new concept.
Yeah,
and you gotta
like the
do
idea of
it-
just being in a mall and just not seeing the
Yeah,
end
no
of it
lights.
anywhere.
Like
Yeah, like it's
sort of dark.
It works. It really works.
does, yeah.
You gotta
Very
you gotta do it
dreamlike,
right,
very
though.
dream.
Yeah.
It's not quite like the liminal side, but I think there are filmmakers who are getting like that creepypasta sort of vibe without going like ridiculous into lore with it. Like I mentioned I saw TV Globe, but the filmmaker who made the Jane Schoenbrunn, their first movie was a movie called We're All Going to the World's Fair, and it's about this girl who gets involved in this like online creepypasta like game where she's like talking to people and stuff like that. And
Ooh.
she's filming all these like weird Marble Hornets-esque like videos of her being like possessed. You don't know if she's just playing along with it, or if or if like she started off playing along with it and then became more unhinged as time went on with it. I feel like there's more people in the space who are fine. And again, like a lot of like the analog horrors nowadays, I feel like are like there's people waiting to break out. They just need for the right people to see them. That's just me.
Exactly. I will say, I didn't think it was a great movie really, but Skinamarink. That's what I'm talking about right there. The idea of it.
Closest anybody has come to like
Mike.
Mike's just like,
listen.
like I said, I didn't think it was a good movie, but I think the idea of it and the feeling that I got from it, I'm like, I want to have that feeling more. I thought
Listen,
that was
the
a really
first
cool
half of that movie sucks. The first half of that movie is boring.
But even you admit there's a part in the movie where you're just like,
We talked to death about it. It would have been absolutely fantastic if it was like 15 minutes.
exactly
film.
shorter, much
the
shorter.
last
Been a
chunk
feature
of that
film.
movie is like burn your brain imagery, like with some of the shit they do in the last few
It's
minutes.
pretty, pretty fucked. Yeah.
I wish the movie was just that. I would like it way more if it was that.
Yeah, you really can't do that genre with a movie length. It's,
No.
it doesn't work, which is fine. The movie doesn't have to be a movie's length. It can be 15 minutes on YouTube, and it works.
Exactly. Cass, I got a question for you.
What's up, man?
What's the first scary game you ever played? Or the first game that actually just put immense fear in you?
So this is a really hard question for me because I wasn't raised on.
I was scared by Sonic 2006.
No, legit.
Because of how bad the game was. Am I right?
You son of a bitch.
No.
Fucking Norm. Because of how
Reminds me of
bad
that
it was.
Critics are calling everything from shit to fucking shit. No, I never played like a strict horror game. I don't think I was raised on that kind of thing. So like I had
Pussy.
a place exactly. I had a
I'm with you,
PlayStation,
Callie. I'm with you.
and all I played was like one of my favorite games is Twisted Metal 2. On the
I love Twisted Metal.
Love it. Yes, Mike. Yes.
Twisted Metal Black, man.
Yes. Yes, Mike.
I like the game. I used to do this thing where I would record. I mean, this might sound crazy, but record myself playing a game.
Whoa.
And, on VHS. And
oh my god, you're making a Let's Play joke. I was like, what?
no, I would record the cutscenes for video games, and
that's fucking
sick as
genius.
every time I went to like a family thing that I didn't want to
You
talk
bring
to
him
anybody
over.
at, I'm gonna watch the Twisted Metal Black cutscenes. See ya.
My fucking uncle used to do that with like fucking like ATV Racing 1998 or
Oh,
whatever the fuck.
man.
Those PS1 games.
Loading that game up and hearing painted black, and then it just cuts to this Mike like fucking.
Yeah.
I think that's like the first game where somebody says motherfucker in it, and I was like, oh my god.
Dude, they didn't give a
said
shit with that
F-word.
game. Like Twisted Metal 1 and 2 are great, like the very old school like PS1 games, and it was mainly about the arcadey feel. And then Black just goes, so we got some weird lore now. Here's Dollface. You can fuck with that. If you want. Just do whatever you want.
You know why they never made a follow-up?
What's that?
I know.
Because everybody died in a plane crash.
That's insane.
What?
That's fucking
Well, the
insane.
team-
I couldn't believe that was real.
Yeah,
It's
the
like,
Oh,
team
in
that
real
made
life.
yeah. The team that made Twisted Metal Black, they were all on an airplane and it fucking crashed and they all died.
wow. It's just like the day the music died. It's like fucking like, Buddy Holly and fucking half a Leonard Skinner.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yep. That's crazy,
shit.
actually. Goddamn.
And then they were
I would
like,
say
hey,
Twisted Metal Black was that was like it was definitely spooky in some respects.
Oh
Like
yeah.
they were
It was
going
just-
for like
it
a
was
horror
grungy,
angle.
wasn't it? Yeah.
It's one of the ultimate like PS1 like titles,
Two.
like that's the idea of it.
Oh,
Two, was it two?
Twisted Metal 2.
Which was
Twisted Metal
PS1?
Black was Black was PS2.
Okay, gotcha. I was gonna
Black
say
was
Twisted Metal
PS2.
itself is the ultimate like early PlayStation like title. I feel like
Twisted Metal
just
2
the
was my
aesthetic and
absolute
everything.
childhood. Like I beat that
Yeah.
game so many times. I love that game.
I remember the only reason I got Twisted Metal Black was because there was this game on PS2 where it was like a monster fighting game. Like two players play as giant like kaijus, and you fight in a little city.
Godzilla Unleashed
And
kind of thing.
one of the secret characters was a sweet tooth mech. And,
Shit,
That's
that's
awesome.
awesome.
the only way to get it was to have not only have Twisted Metal Black, but to beat Sweet Tooth's story on Twisted Metal Black, that unlocked the character.
And you had to have that on your save data?
On your save data, yeah.
That's fucking incredible.
I miss when they do cool shit
I know,
like
that
that,
was
man.
cool. I remember I was getting it, and the fucking guy at Walmart was like to my mom, he goes, you know this game is rated M for mature because there's death and all this stuff in it. I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Loser! Loser!
And I was like,
shit. Wait, this is awesome.
I'm just trying to get the secret character, like, from this other game.
Dude,
and he's like, okay.
I'm doing research right now. It was called War of the Monsters Agabo. That was the game.
Yep.
And you're right. You had to beat the Sweet Tooth story mode to unlock the mech. The mech looked like Ganondorf for some reason.
Well, it looked like Sweet Tooth's truck,
That's
but as
what
a
it
mech.
looked like. Yeah,
Yep.
That's the thing. That was the move in the game. Everyone had like a special move in Black where you could do something, and he turned into a mech. This video was uploaded 2 weeks ago and has 1 view. That's awesome.
Guess nobody really cares about that history.
So thank you. Let me help you out here.
Thanks, broski.
Thanks, broski. Thank you, X Mark with 420 subscribers. Thank you.
We're gonna get him on the pod. We're gonna get Xbox.
He's trying. He's trying his best.
He's trying.
You got more. You got more subs than Good Bad Bruv. So
He's got more subs than me.
Oh, direct competition.
Yeah.
Does anybody remember the game called The Suffering?
Oh yes, absolutely. That's
I do not.
I never.
Great.
I have a thing with that game because I never played it. I saw the cover and I was terrified. I'm like, I don't want to play this because there's a guy in a chair, like an electric chair, just going.
Chair. I remember this.
Yeah,
that was an excellent follow-up to Silent Hill 2 for me because when I first played Silent Hill 2, I was jonesing. I was like, I need more like atmospheric, like amazing horror games. Like, where are they? And The Suffering was like, I mean, it was more action-oriented, but it had that like Silent Hill-ness to it a little bit.
Just a very creepy atmosphere, just like
creepy atmosphere, like, you know, really gross monsters and like mental, psychological aspect to it. Like, oh, what's real, what's not? Like, who is the main character?
The best
like,
kind of horror right there. I love that.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yes.
I would recommend. Actually, wow. I haven't thought about that game since I played it.
I just unlocked the memory of us like,
oh my god, I've got it.
Probably hasn't aged well.
I've got it. I know the game.
What's he got?
Fear 3 for the
That one
Xbox 360.
Oh no!
It fucking sucks. But I just remember scaring me because that was the campaign where you'd have to play with 2 people.
Yes.
And me and my brother beat that campaign, and one of us was the soldier, and one of us was the fucking demon brother, and then they had to fucking help their mother, whatever it was. That game used to scare the shit out of me, because there's one part of that whole game, and I remember us replaying the campaign and being like prepared for it, because there's one part where you're in like this warehouse and you have to climb the scaffolding, and the moment you get to the top of the ladder, there's this ghost lady that just fucking scares the shit out of you. It's like the scariest jump scare I've ever seen. So the second time we played it, I'm like this on the fucking couch.
You're like 5 or something, right? You're just like, oh no.
5. This is like Xbox 360 era. This is like 2010, 2011.
You're like teenagers, at this point. It's just like, all right.
Fear was another game. Like when it came out, it was amazing for its time, but like it very quickly aged, very quickly.
Like milk.
Yeah. I was gonna say another one of that era was Army of Two. Oh god. Another game of that era, just like with like The Suffering, was Condemned. Anyone ever played that one?
Yeah,
I never played it, but I knew what it was.
I love it. Xbox 360 launch title.
Oh, I did not know that.
Because I remember I got the Xbox 360 for Christmas, and that was like one of the only games that was out. And that was
like homeless people, right?
Well, no, that has a Silent Hill aspect to it too, where it's like you're going deeper into this kind of psychological hell, and like they start becoming like monsters, and that was a good one. It's crazy that they haven't remade that in any kind of way.
I saw like a post like a couple days ago saying it was like it came out like this many years ago, and I'm just like, I've never seen. Like, I remember they did a sequel. And then, like,
which was
just nothing from it, because it was a big franchise at the time. I'm pretty sure. Like,
they only had the 2 games.
Yeah, I just remember seeing a lot of ads for it.
It's kind of like The Darkness. Kind of like The Darkness had 2 games. Yeah, and then Darkness 2 just did not do. Dude, I was surprised when I heard that game flopped because the Darkness 2 was marketed everywhere, where at least where I was at. I'd see a commercial for that on TV like every day.
That game's got a cool ass concept.
The Darkness 1, I think, is one of the best games ever made.
Mm-hmm. Well, like it's based on a graphic novel, right? Or is it based on a comic? Okay, yeah. Because I remember I didn't even know that at the time either. But I was freaked out by the cover of The Darkness 2 because it's where he's sitting on the chair.
Yeah,
and, like, the fucking snakes.
That was so cool because fucking what's his name? Mike Patton voiced the monster in that from
The Darkness. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's sick.
From what the hell's it called? What the hell's the name of the fucking band? God damn it! Faith No More. Faith No More.
Oh, okay. Oh my God. That's fucking.
Yeah, because his voice is so fucking like he's a chameleon with his voice, so he can make like fucking demon sounds and shit. Yeah. Fucking incredible. Exactly. Like that
staccato.
Yeah, the idea of you just being a gangster and then just dying, going to hell. And it's like World War I or something in hell.
Yeah. Hell was like a constant World War I.
Yeah, incredible. And then like you get demon powers, and you're just kind of like Venom.
It was like 20 World War Ones. It was like 20 World War Ones.
It's like 39/11s.
There's video games try so hard to make you feel cool when you play them, and they fall flat a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. But like when you play The Darkness, you feel like, yeah, I'm a demon man. I can fuck everybody up.
I fucking did
it. I did it. A fun group horror. This is more modern, and it's also a bit of topic conversation because it just got a remaster that is absolutely horrendous. A game that's not, I don't think is super scary, but it is a very fun ride to play with your friends. I want to shout out Until Dawn. I quite enjoy that game. I played it with my brother.
The remake?
Well, yeah. The lighting and
they got rid of
lines. It's horrible.
They got rid of the blue. They got rid of the blue light, the blue like lighting and everything that made it like very like 2000s and cool. They also got rid of the fixed camera angles. It's all third person now.
That's
exactly. I'm just like, they did everything wrong, pretty much.
Like that because that feels like a horror movie that you can play in like so many different ways. You know, like there's so many different outcomes and different kinds of scares.
That worthy of a remake. It just came out like, I mean, yeah, it is like relatively like old now.
Almost 10 years. It was 2015, right? It was 2015.
Yeah, it looks fine though. Like I don't get the idea. Like it looks fine still. Like.
But it's just it's less of a scary game, more it's one of those ones like you get together with your friends and you play.
Oh, it's fun as hell to play on
You do a couple run-throughs with your friends with people making different choices every single time. You have a great time with it, honestly.
Me and my friends did that on I think it was like 2019 or something like that. It was Halloween night and we went over, we just played Until Dawn for like the whole night. It was fucking fun.
Until Dawn?
Until Dawn, yeah, I played it right until dawn.
I played Until Dawn.
That one.
Until morning.
I got that one.
I got that reference.
It's a bit slow today.
Yeah, a bit slow today. I just got a reference.
No water bottle. I got my water bottle.
Fuck off! Fuck off!
Fuck off!
Cass's greatest horror movie is The Train into fucking Edinburgh. London.
Oh.
Shut up, man.
Shut up, man. We shut up, man.
You wake up, it's like 28 days later. Every day he wakes up, it's like 28 days later.
Before I dig into like kind of like the main thing right here, so I do want to talk about the Silent Hill remake.
Yeah.
I want to bring up real quick something that did kind of spook me as a kid. Again, I didn't play a lot of scary games in my youth. I did, however, play a lot of Black Ops Zombies, like the first Black Ops.
I was gonna fucking say Black Ops Zombies.
The thing is, though, I would play it alone a lot. I would play like by myself, like the solo version. Being in that menu screen is just very ominous. Like you have like the theme playing in the background with just this red screen, and I just remember like being there, just like,
dude. Because the actual menus to play like multiplayer online and shit, they're like pretty simple, you know, like block text and everything. Mm-hmm. But that first menu where the guy's strapped to the chair and you're already in the Black Ops lore at that point, you're like, you get why he's there and everything. And then the screen just goes like Walking Dead-esque. You hear the fucking laughing, the zombies in the background. It's like, oh my god.
I like that it was very cartoony as well, which again kind of added to the spookiness. Like all of their like the voice lines, like the ha 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 ha, like the laughing and
all of the zombies did become like Call of Duty Zombies did become fucking Five Nights at Freddy's level with the fucking lore.
Oh, it's insane now. Yeah, I don't keep up with the lore
absolutely
anymore.
ridiculous.
Chair is a.
Dude, we have so many friends.
Never found zombies scary.
No.
Oh,
Well, like the concept
as a
of
horror
zombies, or
Well, just
About
like as a
concept.
horror concept, just there's just not
it's more
too
cool
frightening.
than it is.
see, the
scary.
thing
Yeah.
about zombie stories is the things that are scary about them are hardly the zombies themselves. I feel like it's just more.
It's the idea of becoming infected and just like how
That's
that.
why I love The
process
Walking
goes.
Dead. That's why I love certain parts of that show, because the scariest parts were how the people were acting in that universe.
Yes.
Yeah, and the
That's why I
first
think
couple
Last of Us works for a lot of people because you see
Exactly.
Last of Us works for a lot of people because you see people who they truly are when it completely falls apart. I guess. Yeah. Like.
Yeah, no, COD Zombies fucking ruled, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I go back and play it still.
Maps. Yeah, we gotta play it at some point. The new
Yeah,
one
it's
looks
fun.
good. We should have.
So yeah, so Silent Hill remake. I mean, you guys, do you guys have any interest in playing this game at any point?
I don't think
Maybe.
I'm gonna play it,
I was gonna say because I would
I've seen a
actually
lot of
recommend
gameplay.
it.
I like
I would-
watching.
I would
people play
recommend
that
it.
game.
The best way I can describe to you, I'm just gonna say this: if you get it around Christmas time, that's probably the best way to like do it. Because like again, I didn't spend a lot of money on this. I had a bunch of GameStop fucking trading credits, so I'm like, I got it for free. I'm like, I'm not taking a
Discounted
huge
this
loss
bitch?
here. Yeah, exactly.
Unbelievable.
I think that this remake, I was very afraid of it. Obviously, afraid of it, not in
Yes.
that sense, but
I'm scared. I'm so scared.
being a Silent Hill fan, we're just used to crushing disappointment.
disappointment. Because that first trailer, fucking abysmal. I
Yeah,
thought.
it looked bad, and not only was it like, oh great, they're gonna ruin Silent Hill again. It's Silent Hill 2, which is it's considered one of the best games ever
Greatest
made.
fucking game ever made. Exactly.
So it's like, there's no way they're not gonna fuck this up.
yeah,
and,
and a year went by with nothing, and then they had like a few more trailers, and I'm kind of like, all right.
Didn't
And then
look
like
good.
the last trailer came out, and I'm like, okay, maybe.
I'm back in.
Maybe.
You got me back in.
Locked in.
So I get it. I put it in, and I'm like, first hour goes by, I'm just kind of like, all right. I like what they did here. Second hour goes by, I'm like, ooh, I like this. And then I'm like, oh, I really like this. Then we get to that final stretch.
What specifically?
So, first off, I want to say this. Everything up until the part where you go on the boat.
So yeah, you
Like,
want
go to the
the
hotel.
hotel.
Yeah, so basically,
we should say that they're gonna spoil.
we're gonna
everything.
spoil. We're gonna
Don't-
spoil this. I'm just gonna tell you right now.
bitch.
So-
Cass and I are
Don't-
NPCs for this bit. Cass and I are
Don't
NPCs.
If you've managed to avoid spoilers for a 25-year-old game,
Exactly. Props to you, I
Exactly.
guess.
please,
Exactly.
do not listen to this. Like, it's,
Go the full
Yeah, 'cause
gambit.
I'll be honest with you right now, man. Silent Hill 2 is a great game. I would recommend absolutely playing the original, or if you want to play this one, go ahead and do that, because I'm actually interested to see if you've never played this game, how you'd react to this.
How you react to the
And
remake?
probably, I want to know if it's going to be the exact same thing I felt when I played the first one, but
I'm interested in that.
I don't
too.
know. But, so right up until that point, when you get on the boat to go to the hotel, I was like, I really love what they've done here. I really love all of this. They cut quite a bit out of that last bit, that last half, I think.
Yes,
I think mainly just the backstory. They do not make it quite clear in this at all.
What do you mean?
I don't think. When James is talking about his wife and how she died and everything, like they have like the flashbacks in the original where he's talking about like to the doctor and shit.
That's
They
right.
got-
Yeah,
That was such a big part of why I like that whole ending and everything. And they didn't do that at all in this, and I was a little perturbed by that, if that's the right term.
I'll say, I think they did. I think they fucking crushed it. I think they
did.
fucking crushed it. I think they understand what made that game good, which is all you needed. You didn't need just
Exactly.
like a fresh coat of
They did it. Yeah,
You need to know why it was good, and they really did. And obviously, they had to retool stuff for a more kind of modern gameplay flow. But every time and I would make note of every time that happened, and I would most of the time I was like, I get it. I get why they did this. I get why they changed that. I would say there was even some additions that improved on
the Angela stuff I thought was fantastic.
Yes, specifically that.
Phenomenal.
I think which I was the most afraid of. I was like, there's some themes in this game where I'm like,
can they dive into these?
Can they really talk about? And I think they did it better. I think they did it better in some
absolutely better.
Yeah. Like obviously, like we were saying before, there was a lot of stuff that they couldn't recreate because of the limitations they had. It made it scarier, like the fixed camera angles and all that stuff. So you can't really adapt that. I love so much that they let you tweak the HUD because I was when the trailers first came out and it was like, oh, press X to get the monster off you.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck this.
So yeah,
I got rid of all of that. Got rid of the life bar thing.
Yeah. If you really want to
have
play
like a visual thing for like the radio too, I'm like, I'm turning that shit off.
Yeah. I turned the sights on the gun off too, which it makes it so much.
I made it really small because I'm a bitch with fucking third person shooting, but you know.
I'll say the addition there, I think they improved on, because at first I raw dogged it. I turned on full classic mode, raw dogged it. But I noticed that I started like missing a lot of things. And there was a lot of me like walking through every surface and tapping, the interact button to see if I like missed something. I was like, this is just kind of more of a hindrance than like an immersive aspect of it. I'm like, so I'm going to make the interactions like just really, really tiny.
Yep.
Other than that, nothing. No, like the red bar when you're hurt, turn that shit off.
Too bright, way too bright.
It's way too bright. Even like when James is hurt and like you can't turn this off, but he goes like,
oh yeah, James, if he's like hurt, you'll just hear him just walking, just like, I wish you could turn that off. Someone is fucking masturbating to this right now. I can tell, but okay. I'm like, like a Peter Griffin,
Like I get like the biggest fear going into that game was like how like modern are they going to get, and it's shocking how little they did in that direction. Like they, like, in most modern horror games, the main character is commenting on every fucking thing. Like, oh my God, what was that? Like every
what the
3
fuck?
seconds. So they don't give the character a moment to like breathe and like let you be scared. It's like you're supposed to be the one being like, oh my God. Like,
James doesn't say shit when you're playing the game. Like in just the gameplay, he's just quiet as fuck usually.
Which is like this is one of the things that like they didn't get, but another thing that I think they kind of had to. What made the original game like so special was its like very bizarre acting. Like a lot of people, like they'll look at Silent Hill 2 and be like, oh, the voice acting sucks, and it doesn't. It's actually incredible. They are intentionally sounding bizarre.
Yeah,
like,
the part in the original where you encounter Maria in like the prison, and James is like, "Oh, it's just you." Anyway, let's get going, and she just goes, "Anyway, what do you mean?" Like it's very harsh and real sounding. Like it sounds like someone really got mad. Yeah, exactly.
It's like, and like all those actors, they have a moment where it's like, oh, they're acting. Like this is like they can act. Like they're very like it sounds like everybody's high. And it's like just disinterested and confused.
Exactly.
And that adds so much to the atmosphere of like, why are they behaving this way? Like, what is happening? And in the remake, it's all like all the actors are great. Like they did a really good job.
Eddie was fantastic. I was floored by that. That was a great performance. Really good.
You do lose the uncanniness of like why are they acting so weird? It's like you kind of lose that. But again, it's like I didn't expect them really to be like
with the cards that they were dealt with, especially with this developer Bloober team, which they're fucking the only thing that they've done of note is the Blair Witch game, which was
they all suck. Like
awful.
All of their games suck, which was another big fear.
I didn't even know that Blair Witch game existed until like a year ago.
No, when they announced that Bloober team was doing this, everyone was collectively like, "Oh, fuck no! Like, why? Why did you choose them?" And ironically, it was the best choice. I mean, like I said, it doesn't matter how technically impressive or the game was. Like, all you needed was just a couple of fucking weirdos who understood it.
Exactly.
And like just like the sound design in the remake, fucking
incredible.
Like you got to play the game
just
with
walking.
headphones.
Oh, dude, PS5. Let me say this, man. PlayStation 5, no games, unfortunately. Fucking awful. But just, I can't believe how good how powerful this console is sometimes. Because like I'm playing with the controller, the PS5 controller, and when you hear something on top, like you hear like the sound of like someone scraping something on the ground, like someone's like Pyramid Head dragging his sword, and I feel like the dragging in the controller. It's like insane.
I didn't get that because I use an Xbox controller.
Oh, dude, the PS5 controller with this is like, it's unbelievable. Even like the whispering and shit, like some of the, like the sounds you'll feel in the controller. It's unbelievable. And then like the 3D audio is, you got to play with headphones. No way about it.
Because it feels like it was made by fans. Because that's the biggest part. It's not, they didn't just understand it. They were fans of the game, and all of the new things they added felt right at home. Like that was the most shocking part. Like, because there was new stuff, and I was like, because of course they're going to do new stuff. Like it's a huge entire remake, and it felt like, wow, this feels like right out of the 2000s. Like, like there's and I laughed when it happened, but there's a part where Maria comments on you saving the game, and
she walks in like, "What are you doing, James?"
Yeah, I was like, that's so good. Like, that's something that would be in a Silent Hill game. They're like, James, you froze up for a couple seconds. Are you okay? And he's like, yeah, fine. What are you talking about? It's like,
yeah, no, that was scary because like those save game screens, when you hit save, you don't hear anything. It's just quiet. You're just like, all right, cool. When you hear someone chime in, I'm just like,
what was that?
Like that was weird. I didn't like that. Like, fuck this.
Very clever trick when making a video game is having something happen in a situation you've been in several times that you're not used
There's
to.
two great examples of this. This is horror themed. Last of Us Part 2, there's that one bench that you go to save at, and then somebody comes up behind you and just fucking slams your head into the table.
That was great.
So good. And then the second one is not horror related, but still God of War Ragnarok. After you get killed by Thor, and he goes, "Oh no,
we're not done
yet." Back to life.
There was one of that in actually not horror at all, but the new Star Wars game, the Jedi Survivor one. There's a part where you're killed like by a boss or whatever. And then, like, the game over screen is all red, and it just goes, press X to unleash. And it's like, you just become, a fucking psycho murderer after that. It's, like, insane. I'm like,
Well, did any of you ever play, what was it, Infinite Darkness? No.
No.
It was a GameCube game. It was a survival horror GameCube game. And it was filled with meta scares. Like, it would look like your game was being erased. Like, you would be playing, and all of a sudden the game would pause and would go into
Eternal Darkness.
Files. Eternal Darkness. That's right.
Yeah.
Or like it would look like your TV changed the channel, and it would go to
that is so me right there, man. I love
those
that
son
shit.
of a bitches.
Dude, dude, Batman Arkham Asylum, when you go to one of the first Scarecrow sequences, and
when it replays the
game crashes, and you're like,
yeah,
no, that can't be it, right? And then
that's that charm, man. That charm that is just so gone in a lot of games now, I feel. Which, again, testament to Silent Hill 2, Mike. I don't know if you played any of the endings yet, like the weird ones.
Yeah, I've seen them all.
Yeah, dude, there's like an ending where like, one of the endings in the original one, if you beat it like I think twice or whatever, or 3 times, you basically find out that the person doing all this was just a little dog with a headset. And he turns around.
I've seen the original
and
one.
James just falls to his feet. It's like, no, it was you.
Every if you didn't know, every single Silent Hill game has at least one joke ending where it's like something ridiculous and silly happens, like UFOs and shit like that.
The funniest one in this one is when it just becomes like an old like silent film, and it's just like a UFO flies down, and it's the original James. Yeah, PS2
like,
James. I'm you.
Wait,
anyway,
what?
You gotta come with me. And it's like it's just like the still image of it in black and white, and then like text Like, yes, you have to come with me. And then the last shot is them like knocking him out, and then him and an alien just giving a thumbs up with his body right here, and that's the end of the game.
That's life.
I love when babies don't give a shit, man.
Yeah, they made also like 2 real new endings, and I thought those were good.
Fantastic with him in the car. And oh my god, dude, the guy who plays James, by the way, actor who played Thomas Wayne in the Batman recently, did not know that.
Oh shit! Okay, actually,
and he is fucking great in this. He is fantastic. Like, there's a part, the videotape scene, where he watches the videotape, realizes what he had done, and the look in his eyes when he like admits to it is like, I'm like, holy shit. Like that, I haven't seen that in a game in quite a while.
That was, I would say, one of the things they got better because, it goes against one of my other points, like the kind of like bizarre reactions, like the behavior of everybody in Silent Hill 2. Like as much as that gave to the atmosphere, like when it got real, like at the ending where they tell you, like, you find out what happened.
Yep.
It doesn't hit as emotionally as it could have because you're still, James is kind of like a blank slate of a character, and until you're the one putting the pieces together because you didn't have like an actor who could portray complex emotions.
Exactly.
And they really fucking did it. They really
he was great, man. Great facial animations, great just voice acting altogether. Maria was really good, the actress who played her. There was a few points where it didn't quite hit, though. Certain lines from the original that I'm just like, I remember those so fondly. She didn't do them quite enough justice here, I feel. And I don't know if it's just the direction she was given, or if that was, I don't know. But
it was probably more on the direction because she was good. She was definitely really good. But like you said, there were parts where, like, especially like the bars scene where she's on the other side of the jail cell.
Yep.
That they didn't.
That was very ominous in the original. That was very ominous and
it's like
creepy
because like they in the original, like, and in the new one, you're like, what's happening? Like, what's like? Why
are you here? You just died.
Like, why is she saying these weird things? Why is she on the other side of these jail bars? Like, what's and she's alive for some reason? What's happening? The I think they did that excellently. Everything else, I feel like with the additions, like it mostly positive. Like you were saying before, the Angela sequence. I thought the abstract daddy, they did that boss fight was 100 times better.
For those who don't know, Angela's dad is a mattress with a mouth and like
and that's what I was like. I was like, this is the main crux. Like, what are they going to do about this? Because there is a very
underlying dark theme here,
element to it.
Assault and abuse, and
as you're kind of descending into that layer, and you start seeing like all the pistons becoming like more and more phallic. I was like,
this
is perfect, good. Like I mean, like it's
bad, it's fucked up, but it was very good. Yeah,
but they're doing it like this is new and it's good. Like I was shocked. I was shocked that they were able to like make that better. And all the boss fights were better. All the monsters, like the monsters specifically, like they gave them. There's in the original Silent Hill, you could run past like almost everything. Like if you didn't want to fight the monsters, you could just run past them.
This one is just like, oh my god, how many of these are there? I'm afraid I gotta kill everyone now.
This one, like they're definitely more aggressive. I really liked all the different characteristics. I mean, there's only like 3 or 4 different enemy types, and they each have their own kind of
fucking mannequins, dude. Fucking
the mannequins were the best. Like I love how they
there's mannequins that are just legs. They're just 4 legs.
Yeah, there's one
on top, one on the bottom.
Yeah, I love how they ambushed you. How they were like hide and
be like, I gotcha. Like it's literally
I like how your flashlight reacted to them too.
Flicker.
It would flicker and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they fucking they really like gameplay was like, and it passed that test I mentioned at the beginning, where every time I got to like
evil, yeah,
when I got to a save space, I was like, I had to psych myself up to go back out. I was like,
I don't want to go back. Help me, please.
In the best way. Because there's a lot of horror games where I'm like, oh man, like I'm gonna get my ass kicked. But this one, I was like, I was scared. I was scared to be like, oh god, I have to go back out into this fucking nightmare.
And I did like this too, how James just got progressively more tired. Like you see, like the bags under his eyes just form towards the end of the game. Just like, man, this guy is he's just done with this shit.
Did you notice on the save point before the Pyramid Head fight, he's looking away from the camera?
Yes, I did catch that. I'm just like,
that was a nice little touch.
Did you notice in the back seat of his car in the opening?
Yes, I did. Yeah. I was like, that was always like a fan / creator. Can we just get this out of the way?
Yeah, he killed his wife.
James kills his wife. Big twist.
Big twist.
Oops.
And like for years, it was like a fan theory that they were like, his wife's body is actually in the back of the car the whole time. The one that he shows up in, her body's still there. And it was like hinted at by like the developers. They were like, ooh, yeah, maybe. And they made that canon in this one, where her body is in the back seat.
Yeah, you can look at you can look in the back seat. Yeah,
they used the remake to confirm a fan theory.
Yes.
That's fucking awesome.
Which can be hit or miss, but that works, I think, because it's like
so sick.
James
only because
yeah,
it was a fan theory that the creators were in on. You know, they were like, maybe. And it's I got I wasn't trying to get it, but I got the in water ending, which was the same ending, which is considered the worst.
I got that ending. Yep, I got it.
I wasn't upset.
I got the better one.
I got the in water ending on the first time I played it, so I was like, full circle, I guess.
Yeah. James kills himself or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, he kills himself.
Fun
ending to the game.
Yep.
And
you should call it Suicide Hill if you know what I mean.
Suicide Hill. I loved all the references to the original game, which they didn't have to do, but they did.
They have to, I guess, nowadays. That's where we're at. We have to.
Well, not even really. It's like it felt like it was subtle. It was like references that like fans would appreciate, and not like hitting them the head with
one
it.
I saw that was a good
the pizza one.
Who would eat pizza like this or something?
Time like this.
Yes, a time like this. Yeah,
fucking Eddie.
Yeah,
just like all the characters were better. I think obviously the gameplay was better because back in the day it was they're
just like hitting with the fucking
I do love because we were watching Zane play it, and I do love that the combat in that the like there's just the idea of fighting back against the creatures, and like it feels very realistic. You're not like trying to fight them with like
you're just like
of attack. It's just him fucking whacking the
inspiration, just like
and like James as a character, like he should never feel competent at all.
Exactly.
Like he's a main character in a video game that probably he shouldn't feel like he's ever shot a gun before.
Exactly. He's an old bitch, kind of like.
It's like when you turn the sights off in the remake, it feels so much cooler because it feels like you're actually like if a monster was coming at you, you're not going to have perfect
exactly. Like a lot of these guys are super prepared in a lot of these games. James is just a guy. Like
don't worry, I got this.
Exactly.
This happened to my buddy James once.
James.
There was a neat reference to the DLC from the original one, Born from a Wish, the game you play as
DLC.
Maria. Yeah, there was wow. It was old school DLC, which was like they re-released the game.
I was gonna say
with an extra side story in it, and they make a reference to it. There's one building when you first get Maria where you try to go in it, and she's like, I don't want to go in there. And James is like, why? She's like, I don't know.
I don't know. I just don't want to. Yeah. Also, James breaking windows is pretty funny in this. Hey, you can just smash
Yes.
windows open, and then like
I like-
will just be like, "Oh, James, what are you doing?"
Yeah, what are you doing? He's like, I gotta find help.
I gotta do it. He never answers her either, which is great.
I gotta find a health pack for my
He's like,
healthy
it's
eating.
just
Warn
like,
me next time.
I gotta do it. I gotta do it.
Need to. But no, I was
Yeah,
very impressed by it. I didn't expect. I was expecting the worst, which I think is the best way to go about games nowadays. Is just maybe just expect the absolute worst. So that
Yeah.
way, even when it's a good, even when it's a small surprise, you're just like, okay.
I've been
'Cause
doing
that was
that
a huge
since
surprise.
fucking Last of Us Part 2 leaks. I've been doing that since
Yeah.
then because I went into that game thinking I would hate it, and then I ended up being very
I enjoyed it.
invested
Yeah, I
in
still
it.
enjoy it quite a bit.
So like,
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no reason to think that this was going to be anything but like at the very best. I was hoping that it was going to be not terrible. That was it.
Exactly.
I was like, as long as it's not terrible, that's all it has to be.
As long as it's meh.
And boom, it was really
And
good.
boom,
I'd
it's
say.
probably the best Silent Hill game since the originals, easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
Since I guess 4 at least, because I know a lot of people love 4. I haven't played it yet, but
4 is
that's
divisive.
like the last good one. It's the last good one as far as I know. Before
Yeah,
they just, like,
it's the last
full-on
one where
American.
they understood what because there's a lot wrong with it, but it still has that kind of horror where you're like, oh
Yeah.
god, I'm actually scared
Yeah.
right now.
Because like I
playing
saw
a video
gameplay
game.
from I saw gameplay from I think it was like Homecoming or something,
That's so
or it was
bad.
Downpour, and I'm just like looking, I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Like this doesn't look.
You look
like
at
Silent Hill.
you look at those for a second, and it's just like,
Mhm.
nope, they don't got it. It's like exactly what I was just talking about. The main character of Homecoming is a Marine, so that explains his combat prowess. And it's like, no, you're not supposed to feel like you.
I don't want
you
to see a
have
motherfucker doing CQC
Dude,
on
the main
Pyramid Head.
character-
Like,
The main character of Silent Hill 3 is a fucking 17-year-old girl, like who has no experience at all, and that's the point. Like that's the idea of it. It's like Jesus Christ, man. I'm interested to see if they do any more. If Bluebird does any more of these games.
I hope they do. I think they
You think?
got it. I think they. Well, it's going to be different. Silent Hill 3 is going to be a much more difficult one to do because
You gotta do the first
sequel
game.
to- They don't really though. I don't think you can. I think it's so dated. I think it's so dated to the point where you would have to completely reimagine it, which that would take a whole undertaking. I think it's just too aged. I think it's either do 3 or 4 or do nothing at all.
Yeah.
And since 3 is a direct sequel to 1,
You could probably
obviously-
implement parts of 1 into 3.
Yeah, that's
Like, you
exactly
could do
what I
like
was
a
thinking.
flashback scene or something like that. you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, it's going to be kind of tough because there's a lot of reuse stuff. And like in Silent Hill 3, like you go to the same hospital. Like it's the exact
Exactly, it's the same
place.
level. Yeah.
So so they're going to have to find a way around that. And also, like they have, like visually, they got a lot to work on because Silent Hill 3, for some reason, still looks better than like most games
Dude, the
coming out
facial
today.
animations on Heather, like her face and everything, I'm just like, this is incredible.
It's
Like, what the
over 20
fuck?
years old. It's over 20 years old. Why did everybody looks so fucking ugly now? I hate it.
Yeah.
All video game characters look ugly
Look
as
at
fuck.
playing Spider-Man 2, and I'm just like, why does everyone look like this? Like,
Yeah.
there's just something weird. They don't
You,
look like
you
real
put like
people.
a picture of Heather next to Mary Jane, and you say like, could you believe that these games are 20 fucking years apart?
I'm like, this is the new one, right? Like the PS2 one.
which is
I'm
a
like,
shame because
exactly.
like, everything else technically, like the hero and villain designs of those characters and the voice acting
Pretty
is
good.
good. Is
Yeah,
all
really
good. But there's just something about the facial
There's
technique.
no style. There's no visual. Like,
No
there's
style.
nothing. Yeah, like the
Because
fucking the Ultimate Spider-Man game. Way more emotions in some of those characters than some of the fucking new ones.
Yes.
Video games think that they can subvert style by making everything look real. And
Exactly.
while
Nope.
it's technically impressive, there is zero style. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, this game where you're on this luscious, huge landscape, and it's like, yeah, I mean, it looks like a landscape, I guess.
Yeah, that's
that
what it is.
only
Yep.
works for a game where you are trying really hard to like get people invested in the narrative, less so as like I'm playing as a character and more so just like I am experiencing this character's like. That's why I think Last of Us works with it, because they're trying to make you feel like these are real people. Like the bits in Last of Us 2, like when you kill people that are part of like the Seraphites or whatever, and they like yell out their friends' names and stuff like that. Like all that is in service to like
It's supposed to feel.
Yeah, it's not just a gimmick. It's not just a gimmick.
Exactly.
It's like actually trying to immerse you in like this more grounded thing. But when you're just doing realistic graphics just for the sake of it, it's like it's nowhere near as impressive in my opinion. I feel like Death Stranding would have been more interesting to me if it wasn't so.
Brother, I was
photorealistic
raised on
characters.
Super Mario and Sonic the Hedgehog, so I don't like realistic.
Amen.
That's not for me.
I was just wanted because while you guys were talking about, because I forgot that the studio that did this Silent Hill remake did that fucking Blair Witch game, and I was looking it up, right? That game has some like that game has got some like interesting ideas. It's got some decent reception. There's people who really like that game. I think my problem with it is that these guys were clearly made to do this more vague sort of this like Silent Hill sort of style horror where it's genuinely more odd. Blair Witch is good because the lore itself isn't weird. It's just how surreal the situation is, how these three kids go into the woods. They can't get out of the woods and then they go missing. It's like that. The situation is weird, but the story itself isn't. And you look at the plot of the Blair Witch game, and it's like all this stuff about like childhood trauma and PTSD and shit like that. It's like that works for something else, but it does not work for the Blair Witch. I don't need any of that shit in my Blair Witch game. It's way more interesting when it's just not blank slates. Like
you got to know when to use those different types of horror. Like, you know, like how are you trying to scare me? You know, like is it a ghost? Like, am I afraid of like some kind of more psychological level? Like, and a lot of, especially horror now, you know, they try to rip off Silent Hill 2, where it's like, oh, this character is troubled. Isn't that exciting? It's like, no. It's you gotta do something new. You gotta do something new with it.
Yeah, it's only interesting if you build a narrative around it, right? Sorry, Mike, I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize.
No.
Yeah, that was my bad. But like you can't just make a character damaged and call it a day. You have to build the narrative around that and like make it interesting gameplay wise, which is why it's like Blair Witch game is like, yeah, I could maybe get into this story about this cop who has PTSD. I could maybe get into it if it wasn't called Blair Witch. I'm not here for that shit in a Blair Witch story. Like it's just ridiculous.
Well, a good example of how you can like you know mix those genres together. Spec Ops: The Line.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Which was like it knew how to be like, okay, here's the game, and now here's the consequences of your actions, and it's like
It was the part with the guy in the background, like pointing at the player, like it's your fault, damn it! Like it's like,
you're walking around
like,
all the dead bodies, and you're like, oh, this is an interesting way to tell a story. That is
a very fucking surreal scene, by the way.
And dude, Bioshock again, like we mentioned again, that's built around making you think you're just a blank slate experience in the world, but no, you are a player with agency that has been taken from you. Like that kind of shit is what's most engaging at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
wow.
They're I mean, horror as a genre, it feels like it's in a very bad place right now for movies, video games, and everything.
Hopefully not anymore, because I feel like we're on a little bit of an upswing.
I feel like we're getting a
always
lot
been in
more
limbo.
unique creators in the field that are making different kinds of horror that's funny, horror that's like genuinely uncomfortable, horror that's bizarre, and then you still have your fun slashers and shit like that. I feel like we're getting to that point.
There's no financial incentive to make something new anymore.
Exactly.
You want to shoot for the highest audience. You don't want to do something that's going to scare a big amount, like not literally scare, but like turn people off of it. You want to always hit the middle line now, which is why everything feels the same and just like you're just going through the motions.
You have your Jordan Peeles of the world and your Ari Asters and people like that who are willing to, whether you like their movies or you don't, they are willing to push boundaries,
take risks, push boundaries,
how to tell the story and how uncomfortable it's going to make their audience feel. But there are a lot of just like dude, I cannot be overstated. Just like I've talked at length about how much I don't like them. David Gordon Green's Halloween trilogy has done irreversible damage to a lot of horror franchises because now everything's getting legacy to the point where Scream Scream 6 makes the new Scream movies make points of legacy sequels and how they're dumb, and that's kind of. But even though those movies are like they're making fun of it, they still fall into those tropes.
We were literally just talking about how Texas Chainsaw, that new one, is just oh my god.
I hate when anything it's the biggest sin of creativity. I think it's like no matter what the genre is, like when they try to be cute and they say like, "Isn't this so stupid?" It's like you can't do that. Like you can't.
It's like you're making this.
You're
like,
making it stupid.
It's the equivalent of and then
you're
Deadpool
in charge. Yeah, you're in charge of a franchise that I love and put all my time to come and consume, and you're gonna sit there and go, "Huh? Look what we've done with it." It's
Look how dumb this is.
Joker 2! Joker 2!
If I gave you my newborn child to take care of for 2 days and you came back and said, look, it's missing an eye, I'm going to be fucking pissed off.
You fucking asshole.
I should have been
First off, why did you do that?
Yeah. First of all,
it's like in the first X-Men movie. I think Wolverine says, "What do you expect me to wear? Yellow spandex?" And it's
way funnier now. Way funnier.
Yeah.
now.
It's really funny in the in X-Men '97 when they do like that same scene, and then Cable's like, "Oh, I really got to wear this," and Cyclops is like, "What'd you expect? Black leather?" It's like,
they did do that. Fuck.
Like
you.
there's like there are shows where like they'll point out like their own plot points. Where a character will be like, whatever happened with this? And like, wink, wink. We know that fans think this is dumb, and we're pointing it out, so that makes it okay. It's like, no, it doesn't.
Stupid.
I don't know what's more offensive to me is like that kind of stuff, like that wink, wink, or when the most ridiculous shit in canon will just happen, and people just sell it like, yes, of course this happened. Like, dude, I'll keep talking about it. Rise of Skywalker, Palpatine is alive. And
somehow.
we won't progress any further on that, and we just that's the plot now.
My cock has never shriveled more than that exact moment.
Like there was
shit, man.
I tried watching that show, Only Murderers in the Building.
Oh yes.
Is that show good?
I mean,
no.
It's fun. I mean, it's fun to watch. Like,
I love Steve Martin and Martin Short. I love those guys, but
you got like a girlfriend. You know, you just want to watch something to put on. It's fine, but they keep making this meta joke because the show is about like a murder happens and these characters make a podcast about it, like a serial style podcast about it. And the way they do meta jokes is that like they'll comment on the show through their fictional podcast. Like in season 2 of the show, there's a lot of characters who are like, "Oh, the podcast was so much better in season 1," and it's like we get what you're doing. It's not funny. It's like you're making the show.
You're still doing it, yeah.
And the characters being like, this wasn't as good as the first season. It's like you can't say that in your own show. Like you're acknowledging that you're not doing a good job. Like
exactly
shooting yourself in the foot at the point.
Or it's like when you have an inherently like surreal thing, like something that's inherently weird. Like there's this series that just came out like last week. It's Shadow Dropped. It has everybody's favorite YouTuber, Markiplier, in it, The Edge of Sleep, which just dropped.
He did an audio drama about that.
Yeah. That was the podcast, which is great, which is fantastic. But then I remember because out of nowhere, Cass sent me like the official trailer. I didn't even know it was on Amazon. And the official trailer,
it's not even an official trailer. It was fan made because they didn't make a trailer.
Oh yeah.
That's how much they fucked him over. They didn't even give him a trailer.
But the fan made trailer showed like a bunch of jokes and shit like that. And a lot of the jokes like undercutting attention. I was like, why would you do that? But then Markiplier, because he didn't like how all the marketing was, he got a bunch of footage from Amazon and he edited together a much shorter, minute and a half, 2 minute long teaser.
I'm gonna do it myself, and
it's way better. It's actually like unnerving.
So cool.
It's a little.
He's
weird.
an unsung hero, man.
I respect. Like, say what you will, man. Whether you think he's cringy or you think his stuff is good, I respect the shit out of him for taking creative risks. Again, I respect him for being like, I'm gonna be a part of this series, even though I'm not an actor. And I'm going to use it to elevate these two creators who have not gotten the same space that I have. I respect that. Yeah. I respect that endlessly. That's just
I remember during COVID when he released the audio drama. I was like, oh wow, this is fun to listen to.
And he's not bad in it. He's actually he's a pretty solid voice actor in that. Honestly, like he does a pretty good job. And yeah, I sing
We
my
were
praise
just talking about horror stuff. He's gonna have Iron Lung coming out soon. I can't wait for that shit.
I'm
I'm
really
interested in that.
curious how that's gonna be. I think that's his like true test. That's like his true.
Yeah, if he can roll with the big boys.
like a narrative one at like 90-minute like feature. You know, like that's gonna
Hell
be.
yeah.
It's all on him, all on his
Anyway.
shoulders.
Yeah. That was super interesting to watch two people obsessed with the franchise just go
Yeah.
at it, because
It's a very
Obviously,
niche kind
yeah.
of thing nowadays, which is kind of
Yeah.
weird. It's a shame that franchises that are so popular can become like relatively niche after a certain point. Like it's like,
how do you think I feel? I used to love Oddworld. I used to love it.
Oh no, poor
Talks about that
Oddworld.
shit.
Oh, that's tragic.
That
That's
shit
man.
used to slap, man.
Listen, I lived life as a Metroid fan for a very long time, and there was a solid 10 years where I got fucking nothing. So, you know,
It's
I'm
coming.
better now. Everything's good.
Hey, you know what?
It's gonna be greater than before.
It's gonna be amazing. So beautiful.
Hey, Metroid Dread, one of the best games of,
Very
this,
good.
of this decade. One of the best games of this
Very
decade.
good.
I'm serious. Perfect game.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that was a solid discussion, I'd say.
Yeah.
Holy
Hope it
fucking
recorded.
shit! I didn't even look
2
at
hours
the
of
I
time.
didn't even look at
What the fuck?
Hey man, we're almost 3 hours. Hey, you know what? Before this recording ends because of too lengthy, I don't know if it will or not. Hopefully not.
No.
but, we do have. Yes, we do have a poll
We have to read the
apparently
poll
from last
question.
week.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh
Mike,
right, yeah.
That's how
We started
that's
doing a
the-
poll now.
Do you have it
on
up? Or do you want me
Spotify.
to get it?
I got it right here.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
I got-
Yeah. Why? We used to do a poll on Spotify where it would just be the simple: we all brought something for what we got. Who had the best pick? But now we have just let Wyatt go off, and the question has been different every single time, and it has been the most fucking hilarious shit. Wyatt, can you please unveil what you did last time?
So, last week, because we talked about horror icons, I said, "What do you think's the best horror icon?" We have five options. We have a tie, by the way.
just
So,
go from like last to
Here's
first
the thing:
place.
last place, the three that are in last place are Jason, Freddy, and Jigsaw.
Okay.
So we got three pretty big horror icons out of the discussion now. The winner by a tie, unless one of you hasn't voted yet, Kaz or Simon.
I'll
would
vote
like
right
to break
now.
it.
I'll vote right
Okay.
now.
Do it right now.
What
So the last two options, we have a tiebreaker. Jamie Kennedy from Son of the Mask and Dan Aykroyd's Yogi Bear.
Oh, that is that
Scary.
is it. That's
Oh,
it.
I'm gonna
bro.
just to fuck with the poll. I'm gonna vote for the other one just so it stays as a tie.
I'm gonna vote for the other one. Fuck you, boo boo. Buy my Crystal Skull vodka.
Piece of
Fuck
shit.
you.
Did you ever see the video where they recreated
Jesse
the
James. The
assassination of
fucking,
Jesse
yeah.
James? Yes. Yeah.
Oh my fucking.
That painting looked real dusty, don't it?
Yeah.
Boo Boo's just there with the gun, like looking sad.
Boo boo
Brilliant.
like sad pull on the gun is the funniest fucking thing ever.
His fucking head hitting the fucking painting. Like,
That is an all-timer YouTube video right there.
it looks like the movie, which is even fucking funnier.
Oh, man.
It's
The
shot
animation
for
in that
sure.
is beautiful.
Yeah,
It is
dude, the
fucking
guy's
amazing.
voice acting, he brings his pitch low as Yogi, so it's like he sounds like super tense.
It's a beautiful painting.
It's a beautiful painting right there.
Oh man.
Now, Kaz, there was a bit of a sub question that we actually didn't get any answers on last
Oh.
week's episode.
Oh,
And that is the dinosaur that you've brought. Do you have it still with you?
Oh shit!
The,
Should we ask Mike?
We should have Mike
Yes,
name
let's
the
ask Mike.
Spinosaurus. Oh my
Mike.
So-
So
Dinosaurs.
currently in a little bit of a relationship status right now, and she lovely,
Brought you a dinosaur.
very
Yes.
nicely bought me a dinosaur. So I'd like to know
And-
what the fuck you name it.
When I name it.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have a look at it real quick and judge it from that look.
Just judge him.
Where
Bro
the
lost
fuck is
already.
it?
Bro lost this
Did
amazing
you
gift
lose
from-
it? Oh, we're
No, I didn't
We're
lose
good.
it. Sit there and say, Simon, say something funny.
Say something
something funny.
There you go.
Talk about the war in Gaza.
The war.
All right. So here's why I think Superman could save the day over there. All right,
Hassan Pike.
I think Superman is more Zionist coded.
Yeah.
He
If
wears
you read the
shoes,
recent Tom
you know?
King run, yeah, probably.
I found him. Here he is.
Crunch bite.
It's done.
Crunch Bite.
There we
It's
go.
over. We're naming him Crunch
And the
Bite.
pod boys.
Pod.
We gotta make
Crunch bite.
Crunch bite.
CB for short.
There you
CB,
go.
baby. CB. And thanks for listening.
It's been a great episode. Thank you, Mike, for joining us yet again.
Of course.
Yay.
On the lore-wise second time, shoot-wise third time, but we don't talk about that.
Yep.
Well, this episode isn't saved yet, so let's...
Where can people find you, Mike?
You can find me at Mike's Moist on Twitter and Mike Peterson 91 on YouTube.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Anything in the pipeline?
No,
And hit him with your
Gotcha.
favorite pose.
Perfect. Anyway.
nothing in the pipeline right now. I want it to
Other
be,
than
but
other than this crack pipe that I got in my hand. Hey, let's go.
You know, this thing is
Disgusting.
bugging me.
all the skin on my face.
Hey, this-
I'm sorry to go back to it, but the funniest part about that Yogi video is when they show the end credits, like who animated it and shit. It's like a rug of Yogi Bear on the fucking floor. It's so funny.
it's fucking incredible. Oh my goodness.
Oh my god! All right, look. Have a
Anyway,
good
thank you
fucking
for
day,
watching.
Wherever you're watching this.
Hey,
Like,
happy week before Halloween for those watching.
We got a
Get hyped.
special episode coming
Spooky.
up.
let's do something spooky.
Ah,
Oh, yes.
I
Spooky. You know what
can't-
the spookiest thing of all is? AIDS.
Don't come to my house or else.
Not HIV, but full-blown AIDS.
Don't come to my house or I'll suck your. Blood.
Help me.
want to suck my dick.
You're gonna suck my dick.
No.